Spunk will tell you what is happening in Morovia. Spunk will tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon, you know. There's the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what's happening in the ministry, to spoon.
Après 49 ans d'existence, les voyants peuples du Burkina, du Mali et du Niger constatent, avec beaucoup de regrets, d'amertume et une grande déception, que leur organisation s'est éloignée des idéaux de ses pères fondateurs et du panafricanisme. En outre, la CEDEAO, c'est l'influence de puissances étrangères, trahissant ses principes fondateurs, est devenue une menace pour ses États membres et ses populations dont elle est censée assurer le bonheur. En effet, l'organisation n'a pas apporté assistance à nos États dans le cadre de notre lutte existentielle contre le terrorisme et l'insécurité. Pire, lorsque ces États ont décidé de prendre leur destin en main, elle a adopté une posture irrationnelle et inacceptable en imposant des sanctions illégitimes, illégales, inhumaines et irresponsables en violation de ses propres textes. Toutes choses qui ont davantage fragilisé les populations déjà meurtries par des années de violence imposées par des hordes terroristes instrumentalisées et téléguidées. Face à cette situation qui perdure, leurs excellences le capitaine Ibrahim Traoré, le colonel Assimi Goïta et le général de brigade Abdourahmane Tchani, respectivement chef d'État du Burkina Faso, de la République du Mali et de la République du Niger, prenant toutes leurs responsabilités devant l'histoire et répondant aux attentes, préoccupations et aspirations de leur population, décident, en toute souveraineté, du retrait sans délai.
The rescue mission was elected and Joseph in keeping with the code of conduct that we swore to uphold. We are supposed to declare our assets upon assuming office. And once in the same office, everyone did your asset. In 2019, when I was elected, I declared my asset, submitted to your office, and also published, even though at the time, the law did not provide for mandatory publication. In 2020, when I was elected, immediately January 2021, I declared my asset again, even though it was 5 people. So since 2021, I declared my asset. I'm still in the same office as senator. The law requires that we will update our asset since we are still in the same office 3 years on. So in keeping with the code of conduct, I'm submitting to you, the Secretary of the Senate, my updated asset, so that you can take the appropriate action to have it deposited at the LACC in keeping with the amended version of the code of conduct, and to do all the necessary facilitation to ensure that it is published.
Mr. Vice President, allow me to recognize the presence of the Vice President of Sierra Leone, who is here with a message from my friend and brother, the President Julius Mada Bio, the President of the Sister Republic of Sierra Leone. Madam President Pro Tempore, members of the legislature, Madam Chief Justice and Justice of the Supreme Court, the doyen and members of the diplomatic corps, heads and officials of political parties, representatives of our international and development partners, prelates and imams, our traditional leaders, members of the full estate, my fellow Liberians, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We are thankful to the Lord Almighty, the preserver of our state, for his abundant blessings upon us. As the world confronts various crises, wars, pandemics, climate change, and migration, we pray for better, more peaceful, sustainable, and inclusive global order. Exactly 1 week ago, Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn and I took the oath of office as an array of the world leaders, friends, and citizens of Liberia, the home and in the diaspora look on. That solemn occasion marked another historical moment in our democracy as we carried out the transfer of power. In obedience to our constitutional duty, it is an honor to come before this august body, the people's representative, to report on the national situation as we met it and present our agenda for development in the coming year. We must acknowledge the harsh realities that face us as we report that the state of our nation is not what we desire. It is important to note problems that confront us: poverty, drug epidemic, corruption, poor infrastructure, and an underperforming economy. The current challenges present us a unique opportunity to embark on a new journey of hope. This is our commitment to rescue the nation. Our vision as revealed in ARREST, ARREST, meaning agriculture, roads, rule of law, education, sanitation, and tourism, shall guide the preparation of our new medium-term national development plan. For the welfare of our people, we must harness opportunities in agriculture, roads, and other infrastructure development, improve the rule of law, rethink the education sector, improve sanitation, and unlock the potential of tourism. We believe that creating economic linkages between these development facets and reinforcing them will help reverse the years of economic downturns. The state of the economy. The state of the economy is a cause for concern, with many of our citizens facing perennial unemployment, and economic instability. We must not just recognize the pain and frustration that permeate our society, but also work together to introduce and pass legislations that will prioritize economic reforms and foster sustainable economic growth and job creation. Distinguished legislators, economic growth slowed between 2022 and 2023 from 4.8% to 4.6%. The rate of growth averaged about 1.5% compared with 3.1% between 2012 and 2017, due in part to an underperforming economy and existing geopolitical global environment. During the past 6 years, the economy faced challenges in terms of growth, job creation, and poverty reduction. Inflation during the period 2023 rose to 10.1% at the end of December from 7.6% in 2022. Revenue collection, as reported for 2023, stood at 710.23 million US dollars, while expenditure totaled 796.32 million. Hence, a large budget deficit of over $18 million. We intend to change the state of economy by thinking outside the box. A paradigm shift away from reliance on our primary commodity export to focusing on value addition with the private sector as the engine to drive the economy.
Yes, sir. A special one from the CEO, Stan coming with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band. Charges on the beat.
On the spoon to get your information.
Indeed, tune to Spoon to get your information. Tune to Spoon to know exactly what's happening in Liberia. Tune to Spoon. Of course, this is where we get to bring you the happenings as it is. I like to say welcome to another fascinating show. The late night show is back on your radio. We're live across the Spoon network. My name is Nelson Colette. And of course, while I wait to start the show, a day, or let's just say few hours after the first annual message or State of the Nation address of Liberia's 26th president, President Joseph Yuma Boakai. And of course, tonight is going to be more about the SONA, the State of the Nation address. We're going to have some critical analysis here of the address. Of course, the team is set. Everyone is well posted now, and we're coming official. We're coming official today, like we did the other day. I see the guys are already set. Let me go across and start to bring in the guys. When I say we're coming official, this is what I mean. Moba Zokia is all African. I see Officer Hans Johnson is doing he's Westing, and I see our man Francis Jabate is all African as well. And so yeah, it's a great way to start the show, man. And okay, so I see the rest of the folks are in the background. George Widow, Africanoa going to get his coat. The man coming put coat over the African share. Well, Alfred, look, Alfred never ceases to amaze us because we coming official today. The guy, I saw the guy in African, talking like African share, the man say going put coat over it, but that could be a kind of fashion. Or whatever. But again, it's what?
La vague,
oui, more for Uncle people. Please.
But let's. I mean, I know we're about to start the show. How about this? Oh, imagine Raymond. Raymond, Raymond, yesterday Raymond said, uh, 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 mobile world Chinese code.
Yo, listen,
Yeah.
in the chat room, y'all. I wait till you go.
He said,
No, remember my brother. We discussed it after the
he said
scene.
because the code was Chinese code, mobile was sweating profusely.
Gentlemen, you guys can't come between Moldova and we're brothers. It's thicker than water.
And I told you guys that Alfred went to get. Oh no, the guy called the camera off. You're not imagine what's happening in the background. You would not believe what's happening in the background. But it's a good way to start the show, guys. George called his camera off as well. The man said he's going to get his coat or one African shirt to come on. But it's a good way, and I'd like to say welcome to everyone tonight. Moba, thanks for being here in time. Officer Hans Johnson, thank you for showing up as well. Our brother Francis Jabate, thanks for being here. We appreciate you. And let me say thanks to Mr. Raymond Zeze. The man has a very unique setup, but the main microphone not working. But we appreciate you for being here today as well. And we're gonna kickstart the show. Lots of things to talk about today. Today, the long-awaited SONA State of the Nation address was delivered by Liberia's 26th president, President Joseph Yuma Boakai, and of course, as the Constitution demands, he went before the legislature today to say exactly what he meant, what he took over from the CDC government, and how he intends to transform that. Well, there were lots of things touched on. There were so many things that were not, addressed as well. But whatever the case is, it's going to be a great show tonight. Critical views are allowed. Let's just say that. Let's discuss Liberia. It's about our country. It's about the future of our country. And of course, the future we've created the mental picture for starts now. And it starts with every single step we take as we gear towards that. Let me bring in Alfred as we take and guys, today we are going to be so much about the time. The other folks are coming on. So I want us to take exact 1 minute each because it's gonna be all about the address today by President Boakai. So I want us to take 1 minute each to just talk about anything that's of concern. Just 1 minute each because I'm setting the timer now. I want us to stick within the time. Just 1 minute each. Let me bring Brother Josh. Brother Josh on the show. You see the man?
I follow you, man. I follow you.
Look how SDA uniform.
Look at this.
Okay. Now that he's still not in that SDA uniform.
You see, there you go.
Konola, the man wearing a Konola uniform.
Yeah, but it's great, man. So let's do the quick. This guy Alfred putting coat water African chef, yellow coat. We are yellow coat. So when I spoke of the yellow coat, the man went to the coat. But Alfred
change it straight.
So let's do the quick. What's on your mind? Just 1 minute quickly, as we get set to start the show. So I'm setting the timer, guys, because I'm very serious about this. I want us to do just 1 minute. Yes, you may have a lot to talk about, but just quick 1 minute on anything you want to address quickly. So let's start with Moba, and then I'm setting the timer to tell you that we're really serious about this thing.
By the way, this is the book.
Please don't bring. You're about to bring the book issue. The book issue.
No, the man put in the chat room.
Mama, do you have that glass? You
No,
had the other neck? The glass.
My man, I got bottle water, man. Don't do that.
Anyway, I'm resetting your time, so let's go, Moba. Go ahead.
Yeah, the president did well today by just touching some important issues, more especially when you talk about the drugs pandemic. I think the drugs actually is a whole pandemic in our country that destroying our youth, more especially the young people. Everybody, I think coming up with that drug test and putting people to places where they can combat the drugs, I think will be a very great thing for our country, because the more the people take the drugs, and the young folks, the more they go and rob the kid, they do other things. You know, when they take drugs, hiking, you know, the effect of drugs. So I think for him to start, you know, by telling the Liberian people he as vice president will be the first to go for tests. You know, that show leadership, ability to the president. So I'm commend him for that. And I'm gonna close by saying that, and he also emphasized on the real government refuse to investigate the people.
Thank you, Moba. Refusal to investigate. Let's hold you there, Moba. We want to make sure that we stick to the time. Officer Johnson, you want to go, sir?
Sure. Thank you, Nelson. And hello to everybody there in TV and radio land, fellow panelists. It was a unique and poised, beautiful program today. The president looked confident, delivering his speech to the nation, giving hope, even though he stated the country is in distress, but guaranteed that give hope that Liberian people does have hope. And one thing that struck me, I was very impressed, and I'm happy for the infrastructures that are going to be put into place by this government. Talking about the Gabriel Tucker Bridge, the freeway leading to Brewerville, Douala, and other areas. So those are very important issues for a nation that is going to be building up itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Officer Hans Johnson. He did that in 30 seconds. Francis, quickly, just a quick one. What's on your mind?
Yeah, hello to everybody. Yeah, we all admire the president's speech today, but for me, it's about Senator Prince Johnson comment he made on a video. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, where it sounds like he was making threats that if they walk economic crime.
Those who wrote the speech, I was also the Bishop of Sudan. In inauguration day, everybody happy. We are rejoicing over the defeat of the old regime. We are rejoicing about our effort to build a new regime. Then we're sitting down with happiness. We go write paper for that 79-year-old man. He's struggling to read. Then he put there, I will tell the United Nations, I will tell the US, I will bring 1.4 year. Because you think 1.4 are free Johnson? And by the time the old man was reading, when he got to the page,
So listen. I know. No, but Francis, you gotta calm down. I know this is the video you are talking about. I thought to play the video, but apparently you weren't looking at the screen.
No, I know you let the triple off that time, but I didn't want you to come on time.
Oh,
yeah, that's why I was talking because I know you tell me my time out.
Okay. So that's the video. I just thought to play the video for the
second. Okay, go ahead, play the video.
And then no, but I already played the video. You want me to play?
Those who wrote the speech, I was also the Bishop of Sudan. In inauguration day, everybody happy. We are rejoicing over the defeat of the old regime. We are rejoicing about our effort to build a new regime. Then we're sitting down with happiness. We go write paper for that 79-year-old man. He's struggling to read. Then he put there, I will tell the United Nations, I will tell the US, I will bring 1.4 year. Because you think 1.4 are free Johnson? And by the time the old man was reading, when he got to the
page. So what about this video that is so much concerning to you?
Right, and you see the disrespect? I'm not even talking about what he said about President Barker. That's a complete insult to all the people they killed in Liberia there. All the people they killed, that's an insult. So if you think he got enough boys in Nima County that will protect him, when they came in 1989, Liberian people never knew anything about war. But Liberian people had tasted war. Even if he go back to Budo, don't you understand what being? They trying to get a cell phone. They see TikTok. They see Instagram. They see how the world look. They want good life. And he can tell you, oh, I'm afraid for work, could not come for me. And I'm saying he's guilty. Oh, I'm not the lawyer that will judge the case. But they should bring that court to Liberia. Everybody that took people's lives. So he said they put him at home, the leader on God. Then he running around and enjoying himself in Liberia. Let him keep sleeping. He will learn. But if Barker he didn't mention in his speech today. We know it was in his speech on the inauguration day. But that would be challenge the legacy with that stuff that Prince Johnson is saying, and he said he don't talk about it. It'll be a problem.
And you struck a very important point. You have 25 seconds more to go. You struck a very important point. Now, it was captured. The issue of war and economic crimes code was captured in the inaugural speech, but it wasn't captured in the State of the Nation address. Prior to just a day to the State of the Nation address, and Prince Johnson came up with this joke or whatever, this thing about the War Crimes Code, expressing his dissatisfaction as to why the issue of War Crimes Code was mentioned in the president's inaugural message. And then, following what he did, the State of the Nation is not mentioned. Do you think that whole issue of war and economic crimes could disappear because of what Senator Prince Johnson did, or the president decided to not mention that issue because it was more about where we are as a country and not going back to this whole thing about war and economic crimes code and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'll not speak to why it wasn't in there. I'll not speak to that. But one thing I would say, President Parker, you do not need Prince Johnson for second term, because I know you're not going for second term. You are going to be the Nelson Mandela of our day in Liberia to set the foundation for future leaders to come and build upon it. Do not let him tarnish your legacy. Bring that war economic crime code. If he's not found guilty, that's fine. But you saw that message. Everybody's seeing it. He insulted all the dead people, all the people that are living now, that he killed their family. He insulted them. So we're not going to stand for that.
Let's do that, Francis. Raymond, what's on your mind quickly, sir? 1 minute. You want to talk about that issue of concern?
Well, today we know what the State of the Nation addressed by the president is first as a matter of fact. And I think he spoke excellently. Now we can see a semblance of what a good and a responsible government looks like. How he highlighted his agenda item and what he turned to prioritize in his first year and the immediate. And he spoke greatly about his arrest. And we all know the campaign, what he spoke about. And some things he highlighted, especially about the current state of the nation, where he highlighted the amount that President Weah spoke on the 21st, before the government was turned over to Ambassador Boakai. He went and made some announcement of what money were in the considered data account. But the current president, Ambassador Boakai, disputed that. And that stressed the reason why an audit is required, so that we can lay rest to the different debates on who said what and what is true. The audit which speak for this said numbers doesn't lie. Okay. Someone could write a report, be briefing Boakai and didn't give him the fights and that's why the transitional team work was so crucial. But what we hear from the corridors of the street says that the CDC-led government did not, support the transitional team work adequately, thus leaving a lot of things not known at the moment.
Thank you, Raymond. Thank you, Raymond. Thanks a lot. Josh, let's hear you quickly. What's on your mind?
Thank you, Nelson, and thank you, my fellow panelists. Let me say I was really disappointed from what I listened to from the president during his State of the Nation address. I think there are a lot of things that he missed out on, for the fact that he did not touch anything, on civil servant pay, that whether it's going to be increased or it's going to stay how it is, because these are, the important reasons why people voted against this government, because they said they harmonize their pay. He did not say anything about that. WIEC, a lot of people, these are the bread and butter issues. WIEC paying fees and universities that were free, public universities that were free. This president failed to mention anything of that sort. And I think it's a disservice to Liberian people, because these are the things that put food on people's table. If I'm not paying my child university fee, I will be able to have money to buy something else, or to fix my house, or to do something. These are the things that we should be listening to. And I will listen to my brother Francis, who said about the War Crime Code. Look, this president does not have the willpower to establish a war and economic crime code. He dodged it, because he also stated in his State of the Nation address that he was going to the legislative agenda. He stated some laws that he wants to change on the book, and he stated some that he wants to go after to make sure that they are passed. He did not mention the economic war crime code. That tells you that it's political. He's cowering away from it because he knows that he cannot do it, because he's afraid of the reaction that will come from Prince Johnson, just as he did before this address. It's cowardice, and I think it's time for us to worry as a nation.
Thank you, Josh. Time for us to worry as a nation. Alfred, let's hear you quickly. Then we'll move into the speech. I hope we have the luxury of time to exhaust everything we need to capture here tonight. But go ahead quickly, Alfred. Please take your 1 minute. Just tell us what that issue is on your mind.
What's on my mind tonight is the armed forces of Liberia, especially the engineering corps, the engineering department. Um, I think that they will be a good service to the nation, especially where we are talking about the revitalization and the issue of road infrastructure. I think there are a lot of good guys within the armed forces of Liberia engineering team that can be of service to the Ministry of Public Works. Let us give some of these works to the armed forces of Liberia to be able to do some of the infrastructural work in our country. The guys are capable, they are well learned, and my recommendation to Joe Boakai would be that he should make sure to give some of these contracts to the engineering department of the armed forces of Liberia to be able to help in the process of developing our country. Thank you.
Okay, so thanks a lot, Alfred Konowa, for making your input on that. So there were lots of things. I want us to go straight into the president's message today. There were lots of things the president spoke of, and we may not have the luxury of time to go through everything that was said today, but we'll go through it bit by bit. Just take a few minutes on each of the points being raised, and then we can try to end up on that. I want to have something coming in here real quick now. So I want us to firstly start up with this issue with uh, the drug test that the president spoke of. Wow, something is not coming out. So okay, so let's take off from here. I want us to start with this aspect. The president today made it clear. He told Liberians that drug is a serious national emergency issue. And even before the SONA today, a lot of you, I think we discussed it here when Senator Abraham Darius DeLone at one of the graduation ceremonies spoke of how much of an impact or effect drug has on the society. And then the senator went on to say that they at the legislature will ensure that public officials going for confirmation will have to pass some sort of drug test that even he, Senator Abraham Darius Dillon, was going to subject himself to it. Later, did we know that that message from Senator Abraham Darius Dillon, when it resonated well with the president. Today, the president had that as one of the major issues captured in his speech. Drug being a national emergency issue, and that starting with he, President Boakai, and his vice president, VP Jeremiah Kwan, they are going to line up for the drug test and then be followed by the other officials of government. I mean, let's talk about the whole idea of drug tests for public officials in our country. First of all, is this something that is going to is it something that's going to be easily accepted by those public officials? Now, someone may say that, look, as part of my personal life, I'm not going to subject myself to some sort of test when in fact it should not be a prerequisite to serving my country. Serving my country means I should have the credential, the qualification, the academic a background and everything that's required to serve in a particular position. But now, with the president coming up with this, Senator Dillon said it. Now the president have mentioned it, drawing the whole background from the impact of drugs in our country. Is this issue with drugs, is this something that's going to be easily accepted? Looking at Liberia's own case, is this possible? Is it workable in the Liberian society? Now let's start off from Alfred on this one. Alfred, please unmute. You are muted, sir.
I agree with the president. If you say, let me start with our Liberian way. If you say your children should not be out of the home at 6 p.m.,
Yeah.
you, the father, you should be home before 6 p.m. to
Mhm.
demonstrate that you are serious for business. So the
Yeah.
president told you and I that the issue of drugs in our country is epidemic. And you will not need anyone to come from South Africa or Nigeria to come solve that problem. It will be Liberians, and it has to start with those who are leaders of the country. So he made it clear to you that it's going to start with him and his vice president. When I was in the military in Liberia, we used to have mandatory drug tests. I randomly do that kind of take it do it. It happens in the military all of the time. So that thing should not be a big deal. We only need to structure our system where people can follow the rules of law and make sure that the issue of drugs can be curtailed. We are able to do it. We are just 5 million people. It's not difficult. We just need a political will. And I really like what Mr. Bunker is doing. You know, I really appreciate that. We have to have the political will.
Is this workable? Is this something that is easily possible in the Liberian society? Now, we have a situation where if you walk through the streets of Monrovia almost every day, you see young people. I mean, a new group of young people are being introduced to this issue of drugs. Maybe 3 out of 10 households will have some family member or relative or someone somehow somewhere that's connected to this issue of drugs in our country. Now, given this situation with Liberia, and also considering the fact that drug cartel is a very serious issue, sophisticated countries are still battling this one. Is it workable in the Liberian society? This particular approach, is it going to in any way curb the impact of drugs on the Liberian society?
Nothing. That's one aspect of this whole drug issue. This drug issue has to be holistic. It doesn't have to just be about people going to do drug tests. No. The government has to put its feet down to make sure that those who are responsible for the drug issue in our country are targeted. Go for the big guns. There are people in government that know exactly what happens when it comes to the issue of drugs. Go after them. Make sure you get them and prosecute them. And the other aspect of it has to do with the health aspect too, the rehabilitation of individuals. So it's not just about going to do drug and then I mean the whole drug benefit. No, you have the rehabilitation aspect. You have the psychological, mental aspect of it. It all has to come together. So it can't just be about going to do drug tests. That is just the first step.
Okay, Josh, let's hear from you on this one. This approach. Public officials subjecting themselves to the drug test.
I think the president spoke for long and he needed an applause. That's why he stated what he stated. Because for me, it's not workable. It's not supported by our laws. It's not supported by anything. Let me ask you a question simply. If you take the drug test, who do you take it to interpret it? Where do you go and take it? How is the process? Or you take it and you take your own result to them and show you say, this is my result. It doesn't make any sense. This president wanted some applause and he got it. It was just a free one given to him because I think it doesn't make any sense.
Let's start from here, Josh. Do you agree that drugs is a serious a national emergency in our country? Do you agree that something needs to be done about the fight against drugs in Liberia?
I agree, and I don't think fighting drug is a political issue, right? I think fighting drugs should be an issue of every Liberian's prerogative. But for the president to make it political, to just say he would do it, and then everybody is he said everybody is encouraged to do it. It's not that tells you that it's not supported by law, it's not supported by anything. If you want to do it, you do it. That's why he was saying he said, but people did not understand how to employ him. If you want to do it, you can do it because it's not requested by the law for you to do it. This president has to first go to the law and make a law to make sure, because guess what? We get so many drugs that when you go take tests that can come out. They get methamphetamine, they get all sorts of drugs that that can come up. So which type of drug is he looking for? Which one is it illicit to him? Or which one will be illicit to the particular job? These things are things that people need to address holistically. Then just to say, I will take drugs. When you go take drug tests, now so many drugs will be found in your system. What other drugs are we looking for? Is it we're looking for kush or we're looking for this? And who do we go to take the test? And when you take the test, where does the test result go? You take it and carry it to them? Look, so many questions need to be answered. And I think the president's speech was very vague. It did not have any ingredients in it. It was just something to use so that you get some claps from the people. And I think he did it and he accomplished it in. But I think the drug, while it is true that it's a very major pandemic in our country, it needs to be addressed systematically, not a political
But
maneuver
someone may,
can solve it.
I mean, taking into consideration the president's comment on this thing about drugs, right? It's often said that in the case in our Liberian parlance, we say when the fish ready to get ratting, it gets ratting from the head or something like that. Don't you think, Josh, you are saying that that whole thing about drug, the president was trying to be political when he mentioned this thing about drug, even mentioning that he himself is going to avail himself, take it, and the vice president and stuff like that. You are saying that he was being political about it. But don't you see this from a point where if we have the president, for example, going to do a drug test, the vice president subjecting themselves to a drug test, and maybe they pass the test and stuff like that. Don't you see this as a very unique place to start this whole fight against drugs from? Because the president is not involved, the vice president is not involved, the legislators are not involved, and if those people can pass the drug test, then it means that they are in a better position to launch a fight against illicit drug in our country.
Nelson, look, I agree. And I always say, I will say it again. I don't want to sound redundant, but I will say it again. The drug epidemic in Liberia needs to be curtailed. However, the president making that remark said he would do it. And if he won't do it, go and do it. It's not going to start anything. It doesn't mean anything. What he's going to do is to make it mandatory by law that anybody who wants to take certain position must do drug tests. And when you fail the drug test, you should not get the job. But what he said, if you do it, even if I positive, that does not tell me that they will stop me from getting a job. It just means that I got a positive test. So what does it change? No, you are saying that, look, you want to lead by example, go and do the test. But what are the
let me read this particular portion. He says, the drug epidemic, especially the use of kush in our country, is an existential threat, eating away the future of our children and the country. We must stand up and face this national security risks together, given the need for immediate action to make good my pledge on to the thousands of families burdened by this crisis. I'm hereby declaring drugs and substance abuse as a public health emergency. In this direction, I'm establishing a multi-sectorial steering committee comprising of the following ministries and agencies. Now you have the Ministry of Health to chair it, the Ministry of Justice to co-chair. You have Ministry of Youth and Sports members. It's a member, Ministry of Gender, blah 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 blah, finance and all of that. It says, and he ended on this note, and he said, "In this fight, me and my vice president will be the first to take a drug test, and I urge all others to follow." Josh, is there anything wrong with this portion of the president's speech directed towards the fight against drugs?
Nelson, there's nothing wrong with it. But there are so many things that are missing. That steering committee that he announced, what are they going to do? What are they going to do?
To launch the fight.
Tell me.
To launch the fight
do what?
against...
How? What's the methodology? Look, this was just political for this president to look good. That's why he started saying what he was saying. But nothing he said there that had any substance in it when it comes to that drug epidemic that we have in Liberia. It's just going to be from zero to negative numbers. That's what we're going into, because this president will continue to make these type of vague statements and people will start to clap and we'll just move on from there, because it's not going to stop. He did not even tell us how he's going to empower the DEA to fight drug, but he said he's going to set up. So how will you usurp the function of the DEA to go into steering committee to go and to fight drugs? It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, go ahead.
Thank you, Josh. Thanks a lot, Josh. Let's move to Raymond. Raymond, let's deal with this issue that has to do with the fight against drugs first. We're going to move to other aspects of the speech. Raymond, your take on this portion of the president's sonnet today?
Before I come in with my take, I just want to give some clarity.
Yeah.
You know, whenever you have to discuss anything, you don't just throw words out there. You need to have understanding.
Mhm.
When people are setting objective, during the process of setting an objective, you don't need to come up with a strategy. But you know what you want to achieve. That's the objective. And that's how you begin with. So when President Bouaka announced drugs as a national emergency today, he can trigger public health laws and he can come with measures that will make it legal to implement, even requesting drug tests for public officials, because it's a state of emergency, it's a national crisis. So with that being said, leaders need to raise awareness. And for all of us that are into advocacy and into public behavior change, it begins with talking about it and creating awareness about it. Anything you talk about, create awareness about, you're taking a step to solutions to solve them. Nothing is a quantum leap in life. That's what the phrase is. Rome wasn't built overnight. It takes a single step to begin a step of 1,000 miles. So when you take a single step and someone say why he didn't take 1,000 miles, that person is just ignorant. They will just use words to condemn and criticize without having understanding of what they're saying. Sometimes you need to hear yourself and find out whether you make.
Raymond, coming back to this whole aspect of the speech, Raymond. This
is Raymond trying to attack me, or what is he trying to do here?
If you feel attacked,
no, but Nelson, let me answer to him. Maybe he thinks I lack understanding of what I'm saying. No, but he attacked me. He attacked me personally. Raymond cannot come up here and want to tell people that I don't understand what I'm saying. You can't do that, Raymond. You know me very well. You know me. You cannot do that. So if you want to say something, make your point. Make your point. Don't come and attack me. If you attack me, I'm going to come after you, my man.
I care less. Who are you?
So let's do this.
Okay. Then skip.
Let me mute you. Raymond has the time now. Let Raymond conclude, brother. Let's do
no, but you should not attack me, Nelson. You should not attack me. You should not. And tell me about understanding. You can understand what I mean?
Listen.
Of course, I understand far more than you. You are exhausted. You don't.
You cannot even. Make your point. Tell us why it's better. Tell us why.
You can't even mute your mic. Indiscipline.
Guys, please mute your mic.
Exposing all your weaknesses.
In the first place, yeah,
Raymond, you lack intellectual strength. That's why you come and challenge all the time.
Raymond, please hold.
You're just talking nonsense, part of nonsense. But go ahead.
You can't even discipline yourself.
Nonsense is allowed on the show, so just go ahead.
You still indiscipline, showing how minute you are.
In the first place, George, let's do this. I first spoke before you, Josh. You spoke, and then it's Raymond's turn. But then Raymond is making this point. He didn't mention you. How sure are you that the point is that the point Raymond is making is not in relation to what Alfred said or what someone said in the comment section? So the fact that Raymond
come on, Nelson. Come on, Nelson. Come on, Nelson. Come on, Nelson. Come on. If you don't want me to show up, I will leave. But don't abuse my intelligence. Don't abuse my intelligence. You can't do that.
You're not the voice on this show. You just want voice.
The fact that this guy is speaking, let's give him the
being
time.
A disruptor all the time.
Okay, so we are taking us up from this point. I want us to please respect the rule of the show. Please, when someone is making a point, if the person went at you, we're going to give you your time. Just make it known. You have your 20 seconds to respond to the person, please. But for the sake of our audience, even for
I need that 20 seconds, please. I need that 20 seconds after him.
We'll come back. Give 20 seconds. But for the sake of
yeah, 20 seconds after everybody done speaking.
Nelson, if you're not going to discipline George and apprehend
you don't make the rules yet. You don't make the rules.
I wouldn't allow George talk on the show tonight.
We are starting now.
Not starting now. George disrupted me. He had the privilege to disrupt me.
Okay,
if
so
you're not going to apprehend George for this disrupted behavior and arrogant attitude, I would disrupt him every time he got the chance to talk.
Please be decorous. That's the word of Speaker Buffer Chima. You got to be decorous. And you can come over and saying that, look, don't speak big book to me. I don't know why you call decorous. But guys, let's keep the show going. It's important. We'll always have the disagreement. But let's do that in a respectable way.
I give him a pass. He's my smaller brother.
So in a respectable way.
I'm not your smaller brother. Thank you.
I'll give you the pass.
I'm not. I'm
Josh
not.
can be his father, brother.
You just ugly that way, but I'm
Let
not.
me say, you're my smarter brother, so I will give you
Okay,
that
so
pass.
please
You can
go
only
ahead,
you can
Raymond.
only use profanity to express yourself. Your
Yeah,
thought is
Raymond,
not expressing
Raymond,
ideas and
yeah,
clean
Raymond.
words.
Guys, we need to have the show in order now, please. Raymond, please make your point. Amy, welcome to the show. It's good to have you on. Raymond, you have 1 minute
So
remaining to
my
make your
issue
point.
is
Mhm.
drug is a national concern currently
And
that
you agree with that?
requires
It's a national.
it is the vast majority of the Liberian people agree with that. It's only
But
George Weah who didn't agree with that, and in
Raymond,
no way George.
this approach. Let's come to the approach. When the president today said in the SONA that he's setting up a multi-sectorial team to deal with this, headed by the Ministry of Health, Justice, and all of those people are part of that team. And then he says he and his vice president are availing themselves, and he's urging all others to do the same. This approach, is it something that's going to help in any way bring any form of change in curbing this whole thing about the fight against drugs in our country?
So Nelson, let me place it like this: the
Yeah.
issue of drugs affects every fabric of our society.
Mhm.
Next to corruption,
Mhm.
drugs is our second most enemy as a nation that we face, and it's going to take all hands on deck to address the issue of drugs. Because when you come to talk about it, it affects every other sector. So all of the various sectors that were mentioned today, one way or the other, have an issue with the resolution or mitigating the issue or the crisis of drugs.
Yeah.
So yes, that's an approach. And that's where we applaud. You see, you don't need to know everything. But when someone introduces a topic and give it to you in a nutshell, you can understand where the agenda is and where they're going.
And another
And
point,
that's where
Raymond,
it's deployable.
Another point, Raymond, is that the president in this SONA did not say that he's going to make it mandatory for all other officials of government to do same. But he said, I'm urging, or I'm encouraging, or I'm advising all others to follow suit. Based on the fact that this is not mandatory, he did not state maybe any legal bargain, any constitutional provision that make this mandatory. Do you see this approach as something that's going to be welcomed by all others that the president mentioned today?
And so, Nelson, the approach to governance is first creating awareness, consultation, before coming to those measures. You don't do a quantum leap. You don't start with the end. You start with the first steps, the baby steps, and you take the giant steps. Behavior change, the issue about drugs has to do with behavior. Who takes drugs? The people. And drugs is a behavior crisis. So if you want to effect behavior change, you start first with a positive behavior. What is a positive behavior? The clean ones put a clean flag up and encourage everybody to do same. And that's why it's called influence. That's the key word, influence. So what the president was doing today is influencing a behavior change as being the head of state, saying, look, I will subject myself to taking drugs. George Weah, on the contrary, could have never done that because I challenge him today. If George Weah submit his specimen for drug, he will become positive.
But
I gave him a month. I gave George Weah 30 days to clean himself. He submit his specimen, he will come positive. So
thank you, sir.
You see, there's a new sheriff in town who's ready for business and business to change our country for the good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's leave you there. Francis, please come in shortly. Now on this issue about drugs. Let's hear.
Shortly. You have 20-minute conversation with George.
Come on.
I mean, we just put it out there. Every time you speak with George, you give him 20 minutes when he comes with George, 30 seconds.
True.
There's no opposition here. It's one platform, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, let's hear your take on this issue. The aspect that has to do with drugs, and then we moved on to.
Yeah, so for me, I just want to touch on a few things. My brother George mentioned. One, he talked about Joe Burger trying to score political points, but the mere fact that he mentioned political points on his speech about when it comes to drugs. He played politics with drugs also. So I don't know what he mean by somebody playing politics, but he's not. Then he talk about who will take the test, what will the result be said. When you hear somebody mention something like that, they say when a blind man say he was showing you with the rock is already in your hand. You're not going to look for the rock. So there's something called testing center. No individual will say, oh, I did my test in my kitchen. This is my result. That doesn't make any sense. Nobody even think about it. So when you ask about, oh, if where would people go to the test, or people just take the test and bring it and self-report? No. If they require people or they ask people, or even if you volunteer to do the test, you will go to a reputable testing center. Even if we don't have one in Liberia, there will be one set up if that's the case. So we shouldn't be talking about all people with the thing that make it seem like so impossible. We have testing centers in Liberia, the Vera clinics, they test. They also talk about what drug. People MIT test, the drugs will come out in your system. No, they talk about illicit drugs. So if you take fentanyl, that's illegal drug. Any drug that's illegal, you'll be tested for it. If you are positive, you will be
let's go to the multi-sectorial committee for a bit. Let's take a look at the structure. He said the Ministry of Health will chair that committee. The Ministry of Justice will co-chair. The Ministry of Youth and Sports will be a member. Gender, Children, and Social Protection member. LDEA, the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, will be a member. In the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning. What do you make of the setup, the structure here of this multi-sectorial team?
I don't know who is going to. You said the Ministry of Health.
Ministry of Health will chair the committee. The co-chair will be the Ministry of Justice, and members now you talk about the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Gender, Children, and Social Protection, the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, and the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning.
If you see you see the papier that smart man. Look at the hierarchy, right? In that setup. Ministry of Health, Ministry of Justice, and go down and so forth and so forth. Yes, it's a health crisis. It has to be dealt with, be it psychologically or whatever, right? And even if it comes to these drugs that are used in the US to help resuscitate the people that overdose, like Narcan and all those things, it will be provided for first responders or emergency services to use that. And if you are arrested for illicit drugs, you face the law. That's what the Justice Department come in, and everybody else down to the DA. And our brother talking about, if he finds somebody positive, what is he going to do? It's not in our law. Sir, most people in the government work at the will and pleasure of the president. You are not entitled to a job. So if you take a drug test and you come positive, he can fire you. He doesn't have to lock you up. But if it's illicit drugs too, it depends. He can fire you. There's something in the U.S. and other part of the world called DUI and DWI. You can get arrested for that and charged with that. You can lose your livelihood. So why we're brother trying to talk and make it seem like, oh, there's nothing that can be done in Liberia. It can be done. And he talked about the DA. The public speech is not going to come if he decides to break down everything that he would do in Liberia for all of this crime. We would have been watching that instead of the national address up till now. You can't come there and break down every single bullet point. He just come and tell you what he want to do. Unlike the predecessor, who didn't care for anything because he himself, by who is strong, he smoke a weed, he take a drug here and managed to go to Jamaica Lodge and party all the time and don't go to work. This puppet mean business. So yes, even if it's symbolic by saying, oh, I will take the test, my pastor will take the test, it should be incumbent upon every leader that have serious mind for our country to say if it's not military, but let me lead to.
Francis, thank you. Let's hold you there. Officer Johnson, go ahead, sir. Let's hear you quickly.
Hi, Nelson. Again, thank you. So I listened to the speech today. I was able to jot down some things that the president talked about. Look, in the great United States of America, drug is a serious pandemic and issue in this country, but we are fighting it. So we are trained to fight this pandemic because it is a national crisis. And a country like Liberia, we have seen the proliferation, infestation of drugs onto the Liberian society is chilling, is scary. We see people standing up and just beating up their heads on cement and iron posts. That is not something to take lightly. is a place where President Boycott is gonna get help, a lot of help, because the United States government pledged their support to him on day one. And one of the issues he can lay forth to them is this drug issue. And of course, the United States of America, not just looking at those little petty drugs, we're looking at high class profile drugs. I'm talking about heroin, cocaine, drugs that comes from the South American country, passes through West Africa onto Europe and into America and other places.
No,
Because
no,
they can't,
just the fact that the president mentioned this particular issue, his speech captured this thing about drugs today. Does it send any message with respect to what Liberians should expect to see,
yeah,
should expect in the coming days or in the coming months or weeks with respect to
sure.
this whole fight against drugs?
Sure, he laid out some specifics, which is setting up a committee. So within that committee, you got to have, as I jotted down, you got to have educational program, treatment center facilities, also do a mental health. You got to have community support based group. We're talking about the churches, the mosques, other interfaith groups, all got to come together. Then you're talking about what the medical service, who first responder, EMS, EMT. That's why the Ministry of Health will chair this, because the drug issue, people are going to listen, because that is why they voted out. My brother sitting here, they voted out his party, because it was during their 6 years that we saw a high infestation of drugs in Liberia. We didn't say drugs were not there prior to, but the last 6 years, it was that the last administration, and people voted because people don't want to see their children being slaughtered. That is a form of slaughtering. Young, educated people getting killed by taking illicit drugs. Drugs were not in Liberia like this. I'm telling you, boys, a small little ganja, go sit down in the place and call it a day. But let me say something, Nelson.
So
the committee this chief is forming, this committee is going to be so tight, and this committee, I pray and hope that this committee just don't go into the ghetto on Gurley Street and Rana Street, but go from the top. I'm talking about the business people that are bringing in these drugs, that the faces of the drug infestation into Liberia is those stores that you see you see the gadgets in front, or behind they pushing these drugs. Those are areas we have to go deep and investigate and make serious arrests. We got to
Now,
start from.
I mean, do you see this whole statement about drugs as anything that was in any way political?
I didn't see it as political. I saw it as a health crisis that has demolished the country to some extent, that people are so scared. Because listen, there's a drug called PCP and bath salt. Those drugs, let me tell you, I have been a victim of someone on PCP trying to put on a restraint, and I got knocked the hell out. I don't want to use the other word. It is not easy. Those drugs hit Liberia. What in Liberia now is nothing to play with. But imagine some of these drugs that I encounter with some of the people on the streets. If those drugs hit Liberia, look, we have bodies dropping left and right. So
Wow.
it was not political. This is a health issue where
Thank you.
your brother Nelson, your neighbor's son, could become a victim of
Thank
such,
you.
and the
Thank you.
president
Thank
help
you.
him.
I mean, let's hear you quickly, then we take mobile and move to the next discussion. Of course, the president spoke of the the net international reserves. Let's say what's in the reserve, and there is a debate about this. Former president said some 40 million. But we're gonna come to that aspect of the discussion. But let's hear from you, I mean, on this drug thing, and then we make a quick transition.
Thank you, Nelson, and thank you, everyone. Nice to see you guys again after talking to you. Hi to all my Army relations. Let me start for Nelson. Give me 2 seconds. But yeah, Nelson, I know. Today was. I was happy to hear about the drug. The way the president approached the whole drug, something what he said. Our other friends from the other side of the Sakimo tree, they're not used to people showing leadership, the leader showing leadership, taking the lead to do the right thing for everybody else to follow. So when that is being done this year as political, because I don't see where Boyka said, I'm doing it better. Look, my predecessor did not do it well. I'm doing it well.
There was no
nothing
caveat
political.
sent. There was no caveat sent. There was nothing mandatory. It was rather a plea.
But
I'm taking
because
the lead and I'm
it
pleading
wasn't
with all of
mandatory
you to
because
join.
it's like like you already said, it's not a law in the country, right? So you can only take the lead as the leader, and everybody else will follow you. Who's in Liberia don't want to be on the president right side? If he take the lead, him and his vice president, and go ahead. I know you, yeah, you're not in Liberia anyways. So if you take the lead, your cabinet might follow you. Everybody want to do what the president does. Our Bagube, what happened? Everybody used to go to Jamaica results, wearing proper suits. If you are gonna be fighting drugs, start smoking and doing whatever it is that he was doing, everybody else was gonna be working and doing, but he wasn't doing that. So this is why the president now is saying that my vice president and I are gonna take the lead. And I urge you, I encourage you not to say, "Oh, you don't have to do it."
Let me
No,
ask you
I
this
urge
question.
you to do it.
Does drug test, does this whole idea of drug test, does it guarantee a public official disassociation with anything that has to do with drugs? Does it guarantee in a way that this public official has absolutely nothing to do with drugs?
It doesn't guarantee, but Nelson, like I said before, it's a psychological something that we human, you want to be seen on the right side, or your boss or whatever, you want to do the right thing.
Okay,
You
no,
see
no.
your boss
So
doing
if it doesn't guarantee, then what is the essence? Maybe that's the next question that someone is asking. If the drug test for public officials doesn't guarantee the public officials taking drugs or not, because the man could be doing this thing. No, I'm coming out. The man could be doing this thing, and once he knows that the time is nearing or for this drug test, he go and he flushes the whole thing out of the system. He goes, he take the test, and it's positive. You going for confirmation. You know your confirmation is as next week or week after next. You go flush your system, and before you know it, you go in and do your test. I mean, it doesn't show. Does it guarantee? And if it doesn't guarantee, what then is the essence? How does it help the fight against drugs?
Okay, Nelson. So this is it, right? In the United States here, at the jobs that so many drugs that they don't come and tell you, say, "Oh, Nelson, Monday you're going for a drug test." It's random. They will just pick you and say, "Go do your drug test." So if you're doing something, they're not giving you a heads up. So if anybody, because we heard so many accusation or so many claims that people in the legislature or people that ministers or whatever selling drugs, they own drugs. So if you're doing it randomly, it be a thing of like, new thing in the government, it's gonna stop it. That's gonna. So what do you mean? There's no guarantee. There's a guarantee because nobody want to get caught of taking drugs.
Thank
So
you.
nobody can be giving announcements say, "Oh, Monday you're taking drugs." That's those just PQ, and who want to get caught taking drugs for their name to be in the news?
After
and
I
get
saw
fired?
you want to take 15 seconds quickly? Yeah, George, we'll give you
Yes,
another.
I was depressed. I was depressed to put my hand up.
We're gonna come to you, George, right after Alfred. But Alfred, you are muted, sir. Can you unmute?
No, I'm trying my best tonight to be professional and to be to discuss the issue. So sorry.
Which one there you can be professional?
My man, please don't need me to go there. All right.
Go
now,
ahead.
the question you asked, what's the guarantee? The guarantee here is that number one, we have laws on the board when it comes to the issue of drugs. Take note of that.
Yeah.
All right. Especially illicit drugs. Let me be clear. Okay. The guarantee here is that the president is disabusing the mind of people who will come in government and be participating in drugs taking. That when you go and you are positive, you know that you're not getting that job. Here in America, I just applied for a new job. And they told me I have to do the drug test. And if I go for that drug test and I'm positive, I'm disqualified from that job. Nobody came into the police station, they say, "Oh yeah, you came in because you took drugs." No, I am disqualified for that job. And if we can start doing that in our country.
Thank you.
the
I haven't
behavior.
landed yet. Why are you just interrupting me, guys?
No, no, but I mean, you concluded. That's why
No, I did not.
we giving the 20
What do you
seconds.
mean? You get all up for 10 seconds?
I
And
mean,
then
go
we
ahead.
about
I mean,
to,
go ahead.
about to
Give
go
me 20
to, we're
seconds.
about to go to mobile. But Josh, go ahead quickly. your 20
Okay,
seconds.
so like you.
No, I mean, we're gonna come to you. I mean, let's give Josh.
Nothing. Why would you leave me there? No, no. Let's not do
I
that.
mean, go ahead. I give you 20
I mean, you're a
seconds.
co-moderator here. You have to relax.
After you get that, before you tell you say you want to get somebody 20 seconds.
You mind? Josh, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Look, Nelson, initially I was going to respond to my brother Raymond, but I changed my mind because I don't think that's why I'm here. I'm here to speak to the Liberian people and not to respond to Raymond because I know that he wants to
Raymond,
get under my skin and that's what he wants to do. But yeah, that's what I want to say. A serious president who
I
have
want to
announced...
thank George for recognizing his older brother.
Move from here. The thing is that, my man, that ugly guy you saw are older than you. The thing is
George,
that
you
you
my
losing all
baby
your head,
brother.
all you get
You my
sabuko.
little
You lose
brother.
feelings.
No, guys, yeah,
You
leave
my
that.
My man, wait, let me finish. Let me talk. My man, a serious president who have announced yesterday that he will make it how they call a criminal act, taking drugs. Or no, here's what I want to say. Here's how I want to say. Maybe I want to simplify to make it, a little bit to say that and we make it a criminal that people who work in certain areas should not take drugs. You get me? Let me tell you here, they don't because it's legal. If I go for a job now, they would ask me, we are going to give you a drug and alcohol test. For you to get this job, you gotta take this test. I'll go and take the test. If I fail that test, I can take them to court because I failed the test, right? In Liberia now, because the law does not discriminate against people who take drugs, the people can go to court. You see, and it will be illegal. You will not be treated for legal. It will not be right for you to deny their employment opportunity when it's not based on the law. So the president cannot just say, "I'm going to take drug test. If you want to take drugs, I can't take drugs test too with me because we got
That's not what he said.
Nobody fed drugs that way. It has
That
never
is not
happened.
what
It
he
will never
said,
happen. It was vague. He said, "If you want to take it."
No,
follow
he did
my
not say
example.
that.
That's what he said.
He said,
Obviously, that's what he said. He did not. I'm not saying verbatimly. I'm not saying verbatimly. I'm saying what he said. It was not mandatory that even the people that he nominated to take drug tests were not mandatory. You said you know that.
So can
He
I
said if you want to do it, go and do it. It was not mandatory.
Thank you,
That's
Josh.
the thing.
Let's leave
Welcome.
there. Okay, Francis and
Somebody said, where is this guy from?
And Officer Johnson, we will come to the both of you. Let's have Emmy to get her 30 seconds to land, then Mobile can land. Then we take you take 20 seconds.
No, you're not
Thank
letting
you
Josh
so much.
land.
Thank you.
Everybody else land. Go ahead, y'all. Y'all knock yourself out.
Okay, so Mobile, go ahead.
You're not yourself.
We're talking.
Yeah. No, but actually,
Marshall territory.
No, but actually, the drugs issue is very serious in our country. Like I think what the president was coming from, right? Like before him probably nominate you, maybe as any position, any cabinet position, right? I think he would just do it like, you know what, the president. We set the president to do a drug test, but the president unknown to them, like they will not know about it, nothing. You just go and do. Yes, it's possible.
Look, Mobile. Okay,
no,
let's discuss it this way.
No, but no. Listen, we are talking about he going to represent it. I mean, he going to represent the senator. First of all, if you want to enforce it in that way, he can start with a cabinet. We're not discussing because
public officials. Because public officials we're talking about here, they're in 3 branches of government.
I agree.
Public officials are in the executive, they're in the judiciary, and they're in the legislature.
The legislature, we're not touching. You know why we're touching the legislature? You know why? Because the legislature was elected by the people, right? They were elected by the people, and based on that, you, the president, you can force them. You will not force them and say you got to do it. But the people that he bringing on board as a cabinet, right, as a ministers, he can enforce it because that's his right.
Okay,
he appointed you. He get a right to fire you and to appoint you.
I'm coming, Moba. The drug test before nomination or the drug test after nomination, pending confirmation. Which one should happen before? What?
I think. Listen, that's how it works, right? If the president, like say, or they like choose, for example, they choose Raymond, right? And then the committee was not tell Raymond that they are, the setting of drugs test for him. He already, nominated by the president. He don't know nothing. And then the committee now will come in unknowing to him and say, my friend, we need you today at 2 o'clock for a drug test. And you judge, but how? You don't know about it. So I think when you do it like that, it's better than, that's it. That's how it wrong. All around the world in America, yeah, that's how it wrong.
Thank you.
Nobody can tell me, say, Zoka, you going for drug test. Nobody would tell me. All they would do, look, the president get it will.
Start laughing. Start laughing.
Listen, the president get it will. Right? The president get it will to do it, to his cabinet, his ministers.
Because
he the one appointing them.
At the will and pleasure of the president. But
yeah,
again,
he the one appointing them.
Again, everything the president does has to be in line with the constitution of the country. All right.
All right.
So again, we have to look at this from just
right?
As much as we want to see the fight against drugs being a very progressive one, do we have any law on the book that protects the president in this light?
Nelson, please allow me to answer this question of yours.
Yeah, that if you don't have a check sign when it comes to the drug test, you cannot occupy this or that position. Okay, so let's agree. Let's take it from just confirmation. After confirmation, the man serving a minister, deputy minister, blah blah blah. What happens if this man goes for another round of tests and he's positive? Is he going to lose his job, or So these are
Nelson, it doesn't matter. What matters is you going to take the drug test and being positive or negative. That's what matters. Look, when we want to fight against drugs, it should come in all forms, in all manner, whosoever you are. If you take that identical drug, let me learn on this. I ain't made 1 minute. Everybody talking about that was quiet. Time for me to talk and say, thank you. No problem.
What about me?
Yeah, no, actually, Megan Q all right, to be frank.
Okay, the co-moderators will have their 1 minute, extra 1 minute to exhaust all the issues. And once we come back for the next round.
Because I only in fly, I ain't learn. You say, my man, cut it off.
I mean, your flight has some issues.
No problem. Let my brother.
Yeah.
My brother ask.
Raymond, you said you wanted to respond.
I mean, you were recognizing me and Hans first. They joined the Raymond.
I'm gonna come to you guys, sir.
Raymond,
just take 20 seconds quickly. I don't
So
want to
yes, Nelson, we have laws. You remember during Corona, people were isolated, put into quarantine.
Yeah.
But we don't have no laws on our books that specifically say that. But on our public health laws, Nelson. And what did the president trigger today in his SONA? He made
emergency.
the
the
drug pandemic of a national emergency. That's what he triggered. So under the public health law, when it's a national emergency, the president has powers to put safeguards in place to save the population, to save Liberians. So under that, that's why there was no specific law that can take you from your house when they suspect you of corona and quarantine you. But they would do that because the president had the powers under the state of emergency.
You are coming in with a very debatable point. That is highly debatable because you're talking about a case of state of emergency. Before you got to that point where people were quarantined and all of that, what I remember is that former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf declared a state of emergency. And under state of emergency, there are certain basic rights, of the citizens that get to be seized. All right, under state of emergency, you may have the rights of free movement and XYZ, but those rights can be seized because of the state of emergency. Have we arrived at that point where the president have declared a state of emergency? Now, two things. Is the state of emergency and national emergency, are they the same thing we're talking about here?
So Nelson, all of that is under the national public health laws of Liberia. That's what President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf triggered. That's what President George Weah triggered. But what President Barker gave today was an agenda item. He's not there yet, but he's saying that's what. And
thank you.
So these are the processes that lead to that.
Princess, you want to take committee?
Yeah, I mean, Raymond took the word out of my mouth. I was going to bring out COVID and stuff like that. but that's what happened when you have bunch of intelligent people talking. And you see, and that's part of the reason why the George Weah government could not come up with anything. Or the Aoze, that all they could do. Because they don't sit, they have no critical thinkers.
George
Right?
Weah and the CDC is gone. They are gone. Let's talk about Liberia now. Forget about them. You sit here and talk about George Weah all day. Let's talk about
so we
moving
can't go
forward.
forward.
Let's talk
I
about
know where
moving
we're coming
forward.
from.
Let's talk about moving forward, guys.
Put George in the back.
I've been trying to avoid, because George know.
No, guys.
George know my rent for him.
But
I'm trying to avoid, but he's still
don't do that,
asking
man.
me.
I ain't
He's
moving
begging
about
for
that,
me.
my man.
Just begging for me to come at him. I've been trying to avoid that recently,
Put
But that's
George
not
in
the
the
thing.
back.
You can. I'm just trying to draw the contrast between an incompetent government that took our people back 12 years in 6 years and a competent government. These are players. But they just sat over there today and lay out things that he is going to do to help our people, to help private possible people that could work for George in his businesses in Liberia or family member of ours and other people to see.
Thank you.
People try to be political or people just saying how the laws. There are things that not everything in the book, not everything will be in the Constitution. The president has the right to protect the people
Thank you, sir.
from
Thank you, sir.
themselves.
Thank you, sir.
Okay?
Thank you, sir. We
If
have
you don't know.
to transition. We have to transition to this quick one. Maybe we're gonna end up here.
So
Officer Johnson, you wanted to take 10 seconds quickly?
10. Okay, I will take it. Who am I? My man.
You're an officer of the law.
I kind of lost my traction because it's. But anyway, let me say this. I think people taking this thing out of proportion to some extent, and I read across the media today. Some people they don't understand. There are certain illicit drugs that they are chemical made specifically to test those drugs to come out as drug that you are taking. You're gonna laugh at a drug I'm gonna call you Waka Flocka, for example, bath salt. Those drugs are not paracetamol. Those drugs are not the thing they gave you. Part of President Boyka's plan of this committee is, again, as I said, they're gonna seek help from the US, because when you just doing this drug thing that you say is an emergency epidemic right now, you got to have Narcan, you got to have rehab centers, you got to have a lot. So instead of our brother here just jumping in and fighting everybody tonight because what we're doing is wrong, this is a plan. Come next year, State of the Union, the president now will lay out his accomplishments of what he has laid out for today. Come next year. That's what he's doing.
Thank you, Officer Johnson. Thanks a lot. Now I want us to make a quick transition on this one, and maybe we will end up here. The rest of the discussion will bring in guests.
Can you give me 10 seconds?
Talk about the other issues on the other editions of the show. Yeah, you would take more than 10 seconds. We're coming to you, Alfred. You would take more than 10 seconds. But
I want to make that point.
Let's do this.
On the drug issue.
Yeah, I'm coming. You will add that to your, and just make your.
Okay.
But let's do this. The president today addressed this issue about how much they met, the reserve, and the GOL consolidated account. Most of you remember when President George Weah presented his farewell message. I don't know as to whether I should get that, a portion of that here before making this quick transition on this one. There's something very important about that I want us to get coming through here. So the president, the former president, the ex-president of Liberia, President George Weah, stated that in a consolidated account, he left 40 million, or a little over 40 million in the GOL's consolidated account as the account balance as of January 19, 2024. Well, okay, so this is it. I don't know how lengthy it is. But today, President Wakai, during his SONA, said, and let me read this out. He said the net international reserves position reported at the end of December 2023 was 220 million USD. The report of US 40 million as GOL's consolidated account balance as at January 19, 2024 is not supported by the fact. The balance reported by the CBL as of the same date was 20.5 million. Highly incubated, not 40 million USD. To this end, we re-emphasize our earlier commitment to audit and ensure that the regular audit will be a culture across the branches of government, not only the executive. Let's stop there. This is another important aspect. President Boakai and President George Weah, they're saying two different things. And now maybe it leaves us with the question of who's saying the truth. President George Weah in this speech, let me see if I can. Okay, let me play a portion of this.
My fellow Liberians, as I speak to you tonight on the eve of another consequential political transitions in recent history of our beloved nation, I am filled with a profound sense of gratitude and humility. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve as your president and commander-in-chief for the past 6 years. Together, in 2018, we embarked on a journey to build a united, peaceful, and prosperous Liberia. And I am deeply thankful for the trust and support you have bestowed upon me and my administration during my tenure. As we navigate the complexity of governance, your partnership was instrumental in the development and implementation of policies and programs that aim to bring progress and development to our great nation. Reflecting on the accomplishment of these 6 years, let me tell you that I am proud of what we have achieved together. We have built roads, supported free wires and free tuition at high schools and public universities, stabilized the macroeconomic challenges we face in 2018, built hundreds of pro-poor housing units, and achieved on so many fronts that we are able to list here today. However, I acknowledge that there is always room for improvement, and perhaps more could have been done under different circumstances. Regrettably, some of the long-term projects we initiated did not reach completion during my tenure. I am hopeful that the incoming administration will carry the torch forward and bring these initiatives to fruition for the benefit of all Liberians. Fellow compatriots, rumors and misinformation have played a large part in our politics over the last 6 years. It is my hope we as a country will overcome this challenge over the next 6 years. To begin this, we must start with the facts of the transition. I must report to you that we are leaving behind a better economy than we inherited. Today, President-elect Joseph Nyima Boakai will inherit a stronger economy than I inherited. There is a bigger net international reserve position than was handed me in 2018. I inherited 94,999,000 United States dollars in net international reserves. And I am handing over to the next administration a net international reserve position of 222,700,000 United States dollars. This is 136% increase in the net international reserve position. The total cash balance in the government's consolidated account is United States $40,044,365.90. In 2018, my government.
What was he looking at?
Teleprompter. They were
Yeah, they
teaching
said
you.
that brother, man. I even know how to look
Yeah.
at
Guys are
So
so disrespectful, man.
it
Guys
was a
gotta be a
long
little
one.
bit
It
gotta
was
be
a long
respectful
one.
to the man at least.
Guys, let's
Yeah, be
do this.
respectful
Let's
to the
do this.
man.
Let's do
Yeah,
this.
it's
Talking about
uncalled for.
just talking about white people.
In that video
Respectful
that
to
was just
reading
played,
SF first,
no, but guys, you can't be doing this, guys. In that video that was just played, the outgoing president said he left 222 million in the net international reserve. Well, as per the Sona today, the current president said what they have as of the end of December 2023 is 220 million. So 222 million, as stated by the ex-president, 220 million. So the difference is a little over 2 million. 2 million is small money. So where is the 2 million? Who's saying the truth? Now, the next thing is, he said that the total in the government's consolidated account that he left is 40 million, a little over 40 million. Now, today, President Bwaka in his SONA said that statement is not backed by fact.
20.5 million, yeah.
It is rather 20.5 million. And he said because of this, they are going to audit. They will audit, and audit will be a routine. And he was even proposing that in fact, the entire government, all three branches of government be audited. Now let's start the conversation from here, guys. Who's saying the truth? Now, with this whole thing about audit coming into the picture, is there any possibility of doing this thing without anyone thinking of some sort of witch hunt? Let's say 20.5 million versus 40 million. The CDC, I understand, says they're going to respond to this because they stand by their word, they stand by their report that they left 40 million in the government consolidated account. Now, let's start with you, Alfred. We're going to take Raymond, and then we take Josh, and then Francis.
After the president.
But Alfred, what's wrong with your audio? Your audio is always changing quality. You were good.
Are we good? Are we good now?
You sounding like you in some old cup, and I don't know how.
I want my phone. I want my phone get behave.
My brother, go eat one raw pepper. Your voice will come out.
Now the voice, I got you using not a voice. But
Are
go
we
ahead.
good? Are we good? Are we good?
Yeah, we can manage with that. Go ahead.
Okay. Remember we had a discussion a few weeks ago when the president made his pronouncement, and one of my questions I was asking, what was our international debt position? He did not tell us. He only told us say we are our international reserve position was around $2 million, but he never told us exactly whether we had 220 million.
Okay.
Right, but he never told us in terms of the debt, international debt. Today, Mr. Bwaka told us that we only owe $1 billion in the last 6 years. $1 billion. Mr. We are never told us when it comes to internal debt on the money that he said was in the consolidated account. How much do we owe locally? He was not able to tell us that. So for me, on this debate, whether or not who is saying the truth, let us wait for the audit. And with regards to what CDC is saying, these guys, they don't get face. They don't have face. Nowhere they're coming to debunk anything. Because the truth about corruption in the country and how they ran our country in the last 6 years is obvious. We can see it from that. From if I would do lifestyle audit, let me just close by saying this also. I will start with this, and y'all will get tired of me calling Lee Kuan Yew. Y'all will get tired of me on the show calling Lee Kuan Yew. But I will end up with this. 1959, when Lee Kuan Yew took office, his education minister, he was a city developer. When he came in power, the corruption that was in the country was so much. The guys used to buy land and then develop it. They were putting their children in and then develop it. That's what they were doing. So Lee Kuan Yew set up an agency called a Corruption Practices Investigations Team. And he investigated them. You know what happened? That man killed himself. Because Lee Kuan Yew forget about whether or not they were revolutionary, they charged him for corruption, and because he knew he was going to jail for it, he killed himself. Read a book. I urge you to buy the book and read the book. So for me,
Mother, have you read the book?
So for me, I am waiting to see the aggressive approach that Joe Biden will put in place when it comes to the issue of corruption. Let us wait for the audit. The audit will explain everything. Numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. We will find out sooner or later. Thank you.
Thank you, Raymond. Let's hear you on this.
My brother, it's hard to talk after you because basically I will have to repeat the things you said because you lay everything out so excellently. But you failed to mention the thing you wanted to say after you asked Nelson for 20 seconds. So
no, we already passed that.
I will use 20 seconds to you.
Yeah, sometimes, Nelson,
they did not even take notes.
So I want to make sure I stay with the time. However, Nelson, thank you. What I want to say about the drugs issue is that when you are caught positive for drugs, in this country, the people have system in place. Say, for example, where I work, and they told me to go do the drug test, and they found out I am positive. You know what they're going to do? They're going to take me away from work, and I will go to paperwork. I will sign paper. I will go to the counseling class. A 2-week counseling class you have to go to tell you about the danger about the drugs that you are taking. And then you will sign paper after that counseling class.
Do you lose your job because it was established that you had drugs in your system?
A new hire.
You will lose your job.
Yeah.
If you are a new hire going to that job, you will not get that job. But if you are in the system already, you working,
your job.
You say your first drug test and they not got anything with you, you are working, you've been there, they grab you, they carry you for a drug test and you are positive, you're not just going to lose the job. But the system is in place to help you for the first time. You will go through that counseling, you'll get a certificate, and you'll come out with the job. And then when you are caught for the second time,
thank you. 30 seconds. Raymond, thanks for making your point as well.
I use 20 seconds. I got 1 minute. I use 20 seconds.
You all your time though.
You gave the man 30 seconds. The man.
No, I gave him 20 seconds. Nelson, it was you to manage the 20 seconds. You failed to do that. I use 20 seconds.
Thank you, Raymond.
So Nelson, let me take 20 seconds. Send my brother to 40 seconds. Nelson, you see the issue about the drug test? What he described is the nature of your job.
No, we passed that drug thing. We own this.
So
consolidated account.
So the consolidated account, Nelson.
The both reports. Yeah.
Like I said, it was difficult to speak after Alfred because he nailed it all, right? So right now, what we need first, the CDC was screaming and crying wolf and talking about witch hunt for audit. Now they're giving us a reason because the president have said one thing and President Bouaka only said what the central bank reported. He only quoted the central bank. So that calls for audit. The Liberian people need to know where the truth is. So we applaud CDC and Bouaka for their information, but we want to know where the truth lies.
Okay, thank you. Josh, let's hear your take on this issue.
Thank you, Nelson. Look, I just want to draw our attention. I'm not here because I don't work for finance ministry. I'm privileged to the information they got. But here's what I want us to look at. The consolidated account that is in dispute, 40 million and 20 million. The consolidated account is an account where government can use money from. That's where the taxes come and that's where they take money from to use. So let's look at the time. In December, George we have reported 40 million. 3 weeks later, on the 19th of January, they are saying 20 million left. I don't know why do we require scientists to tell us that that time George we have reported 40 million and 3 weeks later, what the government was running on? The government was using money from the consolidated account. That's how government runs. So if you
So
come
you're
back,
saying that the very Unity Party have been using their own money and they won't put it on CDC?
no.
But the Unity
Let
Party
me
not in
tell you,
power back then.
before you are inaugurated, you are not the government. So George Weah was still in charge. The CDC was still in charge. They reported at this time, in December, we have 40 million and 220 million in a reserve. So the 40 million we have is in a consolidated account. That's where we take money to spend every day. So as of this date, we got 40 million there. So come 3 weeks later on the 19th, they say we only got 20 million there. I don't know why is there a problem for us to know that government can take money to use it. So I don't know where we're gonna dispute anything here. I don't agree that this thing is a matter of CDC or the past government saying the wrong thing. I think it's just a matter of understanding that between the time the government reported 40 million in the consolidated account and 3 weeks later, things can change. Money either go up or it comes down. But at the time of reporting, that's what the how they call it, accountants do. They say at the time of reporting, this is what we have. This is what we have.
So let me read directly again. Let me read what President Bwaka said today. So you listen to President Weah. He
Nelson,
said,
can I support you with some facts? President Weah spoke on the 19th, and he said as he spoke. So President Weah was reporting current.
This month, right?
No.
Yes.
I'm coming, guys.
I'm reading the speech right here. The speech is right here.
The 19th of January.
The speech is right here.
Raymond, I want you to support me with fight. You want to interrupt the discussion. That's what you want to do. Don't support me without a fight.
So I want to
let me come in.
Let
me come in. Oh, you agree now? You wanted to interrupt. But let me come in. Let me come in with this. This is what he said. He said the net international reserves position reported at the end of December was 220 million. In that speech, you heard 222 million. That's what President George Weah said. President Bwaka said 220 million. But to go further, and he said the report of the US 40 million as the GOL's consolidated account balance as at January 19.
January 19.
19 when President Weah spoke is not supported by fact. So let's turn the thing the other way. When somebody say that thing you thought is not supported by fact, which means either you lying or you just doing something that thing you're talking that aren't true. Maybe like diplomatic way of, you want to be diplomatic about it a little bit, but it's not supported by fact. All right.
Yeah, Nelson.
George,
Josh, you still have the time, right? Josh, you still have the time. You're still on the floor, but I just want to bring in something before you land. But so he said it's not supported by fact. I want us to follow the trend and maybe the context as well. And then it goes on to say that it's not supported by fact. The balance reported by CBL as of the same date. So nobody was using money as of the same date was 20.5 million. So it goes on to say it goes on to say not 40 million. So the president today was saying that the thing the other president that left said that we left 40 million there. He said as of the same date that when President Weah was speaking, that 40 million talk about it was not there. The same date, CBL released a report as of the same January 19, and that report said they had 20.5 million there. All right.
Look,
so now the next thing is, I just want to end up here, George. The next thing is, he says, to this end, or because of this, or as a result of this, we will re-emphasize our entire commitment to audit and ensure that regular audits will be a culture across all branches of government. So, George, is there somebody saying they think they may are taking care of for me? All the report they gave me for my business, I go and check the report. I check my account, my account officer at the bank. The report the man gave me, plus the one my account officer gave me on the same date in a match. So because of the thing they may do, I will start auditing all the people that are working with me. So, I mean, Josh, what do you make of this? What does this even say about the CDC government? Is it, I mean, just take off from here.
Yeah, look, Nelson,
Mhm.
look, I'm conflicted because the reason I'm conflicted is that looking at the figures that are reported, I find it very strange, right? That there will be 220 million dash on the dot to be in an account with no point something. But I find it strange. And I also find it strange that we are saying that George Weah that night when he made a speech, which of course I don't agree was on the 19th, if I stand to be corrected, I think there is a fundamental issue. And I think the only thing that can settle this thing is an audit of the accounts to make sure that who is telling a lie, because that's why Front Page Africa reported, they say who is telling the truth. An audit will establish whether Black Eye is misleading Liberian people or President Weah or former President Weah did. And I think that will close the whole case because everyone is saying something different. And unless we can go into, the audit will establish who's lying.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh, it's not so bad after all.
Now my brother cooking with gas.
Let's no.
Yeah,
That's the truth. That's the truth. Because if I say Waka is not saying the truth, you guys will jump on my neck here. Y'all drag me around this town.
No, you don't have to be afraid.
If I say Joey, I say the truth. Yo, when I say Joey, I say the truth. Y'all drag me around here. So I'll give it to you guys. I'll leave you on all this because I want peace. Today I want peace.
Or you saying the truth?
Let's do
Yeah,
this.
peace
Let's
in
do
us, or
this.
you saying the truth?
Let's do this, Josh. Francis, we're coming to you. What does this say about your CDC government, the CDC that you supported, you canvassed for, you supported? What does this say about your CDC government, their whole performance, transparency, accountability, and everything? Josh?
Josh, I thought
Hello. Sorry, my mic went off. Yes. Go ahead again. Sorry.
I was just asking, what does it say with everything that's happening now? Ex-president account, current president account. What does it say about your CDC government, the government that you supported, you canvassed for? What does it say about her in terms of transparency, the accountability, and everything, her image?
Yeah, Nelson, to be realistic, and I think this will sound like a lecture, and I don't intend to do so. But here's the thing: when I was listening to the president's speech last night, he talked about the impediments we have in our underperforming economy in Liberia, and he started listening to the COVID, all these things that happen, global economy going down, all these things. It's in his speech. He was saying it. I thought I was dreaming. Because Bwaka always said the government was stealing money that what Liberian people were suffering. But now when he comes to power, now he's looking at the reality, now he's saying the economy is underperforming, not because of Semeto is incompetent, it's because there was global financial crisis and global situations and COVID-19 and everything that he started naming that caused our economy to underperform. So you see, people can say things that must their narrative that they want to pursue, they think the way they want to go. When he went to power, he said Semeto is corrupt, that why the economy not working, he's incompetent, that why it's not working. He said Georgia was stealing all the money, all the government was stealing all the money. He came to power now, he first, what he said? He said the reason why the economy is underperforming is because there was COVID-19, there was this. You might not name other things for what we want. We are not managing our expectation. We want Waka to perform miracle in Liberia, and guess what? The wire fees, he should pay it. He should pay people's school fees, university fees. Everything should happen. George Weah was doing it. When George Weah was doing it, he said George Weah was stealing the poor money. Let him do it. He should start naming COVID. He must start naming something that are underperforming. Let him perform the miracle that he wanted to perform. All he did was just lie. All the day was lie.
That is not part of his agenda.
Guys. Okay, let's move to Francis.
If I talk, they will say you're putting the back. All of them talking with me.
Francis, go ahead.
You and John continue. You and John can take my son.
Yeah, that judge.
Okay, let me go ahead. Let me
no,
me go
no,
ahead.
also not listening
Waka
to the
cannot
other show.
lie his way to
Yeah,
ruling the
that's all.
country. Waka
No,
cannot get
no,
with
no,
misinformation.
Josh is
Josh, can you listen my talk?
Waka must act.
Maybe, no, no, no,
it's
no, no.
time
Let
for
me ask you,
Francis.
John have the show
No,
tonight.
no, but listen, Francis, this is important. This is the outgoing president and the current president. Everything that is being discussed here, I see the future of Liberia. I see our children's future. I see the future of the unborn generation, and this is what the outgoing or the former administration and the current administration are discussing here. Okay, let's just go back to the 2.5 million difference for the international reserve. 2.5 million, that's more money. Before coming down to the 40 million, and then the current administration said it was 20.5 million. You're talking about 19.5 million. That's the difference there all by itself. Now, with this kind of conflicting information coming from the both parties, and now the president is saying that because of this, they are going to audit. In fact, they will audit regularly. Now, Francis, where do you stand on this? Who do you think is saying the truth here?
I mean, in the first place, you guys are asking George to be somebody that he's not. I like George exactly as he is. The reason I say this is when George started to speak, he somehow tried to insult the intelligence of the listeners of the Liberian people. Because he tried to make it seem as though when George Weah spoke, there was 40 million in the account, but due to continuity of government, they've been spending that money. But he probably did not listen, or he did not remember what Barker said in his speech, that he was referring to that very same date. So regardless of who right or wrong, Barker was referring to that date. So for him to come and try to mislead the people by saying, the 40 million was there, but was spending it, we're going to Disney Buga and trading party, that one was spending it and not there. Y'all listen carefully when George speak. I don't want George to change, so y'all stare him to talk about audit and all that stuff. So he can look like he's somehow reasonable. But he's not reasonable. He was leading with that lie by saying the 40 million and when it's depleted to 20 million because from the 19th to today when Barker spoke, or yesterday in Liberia when Barker spoke, he was spending the money. But he failed. He did not understand that Barker was referring to the date that George Weah spoke. And there is document. There's paper trail. There's paper trail. Did not George Weah government what Eddie Johnson said I left 150 million? He said no, that was 1 million. Then he left it at that. You see when we talk about the incompetence, they say, oh, they're not CDC gone. Incompetence. Plain.
So again, Francis, I come back to you. President Boakai and President George Weah. Who's saying the truth here? Is it possible for the CBL, under President George Weah, to release a conflicting report, a conflicting financial report on the same date? When the speechwriter or whoever of President George Weah will be capturing in the speech that they are leaving 40 million in the GOL consolidated account. Then the CBL on the same date releasing a report that they are leaving 20.5 million in the consolidated account. Let me hear your analysis around
highly unlikely. It's highly unlikely because it's the same group of people that have that document. You can say, Judge, on the 19th, I will sign this like 40 million, but then I have a separate one for 20 million to give Barker so he can castigate you after you leave office. No, that's why the audit is very important and it just shows light. And another thing that we missed in this thing, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Barker mention that Liberia was under sanction, I don't know, from EU or somebody because of money that we missed? So you see, people not listening. People don't listen. They don't know the danger of this George Weah government, the things that they did to our country. Not everything came on the surface, though. Not everything came out, but if people listen to our public speech clearly today.
At the time,
Minister
Eugene Nangwe, who was the finance minister at the time, he said they were doing DHO and Koho, so that while the partners were angry, and it was not strange because even former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, in whose government he worked, they also did the same DHO and cover hole. So why were they making it appear as though President George Weah's administration was the only administration doing the dig hole and cover hole.
No. Every government somehow appropriate funds for to do things, right? But what this government was doing, they're digging well to not even to fill ocean. No, seriously. Who knew that? How many people knew Liberia under sanction before today? How many people knew about that before today? I mean, maybe George knew because he didn't want to interact with the president. But how many of knew that Liberia was under sanction before today? Anybody can raise their hand and say it. Anybody in the comment section too can tell me that they knew about it today or before today. That is dangerous. But thank God they are out. Because so in the public coming, he didn't say, oh, because of this, I'm going to do audit.
No, he said at this end, or as a result of this, they are going to do an audit. No, and let's take it from that point. No, Francis, let's take it from that end a bit. Let's take it from that end a bit. When President Boakai made all those comments, did all the comparison of the note or the statement of President George Weah to what they have, and he said it was not supported by fact, and then came down to end up by saying that they're going to conduct an audit from that end. Do you see a President Boakai that has so much trust and confidence in the performance of President George Weah, or trust so much what President George Weah did or left back as a legacy?
But no, the people knew a lot of things were going wrong. That's why he laid the premise before even getting inaugurated that he was going to audit the outgoing government, and they started running around crying, wish home. Because this is exactly what he knew was going to happen. You see, George Weah sat there. When Ellen said she left 150 million, he said nothing. He didn't order nothing. Because if you tell me you're leaving this money for me, and I come there, I don't see that money, I will ask you, nothing. What the money say you are leaving here? And how come you left this amount? But he said nothing because you know what? I said this a couple months ago. They came in this place with the elephant meat mindset. Like, we come here, will go. The next government can here, but somebody will come after. God doesn't want to continue to suffer, so He will bring somebody that will lay the foundation to somehow stem corruption, and that one now did not fall down inside because he thought he was going to win 6 years, or somebody else who didn't care for the Liberian people.
No, and that's exactly where I want to start with Officer Hans Johnson from. That's exactly where I want to start up with from Officer Johnson. Officer Johnson, officer of the law, the man who is battling crimes. He sits in this capacity not representing his department. He makes the disclaimer always, but he didn't make the disclaimer today, meaning that he's sitting in his capacity representing his department.
Let me put it.
But now let me say this. Let me say this
as an individual.
You don't want to put out disclaimer.
I am not representing.
But you didn't make the disclaimer. Okay, so prior to now, you've been representing your department.
No, man, don't put me in trouble.
But let me say this. We're seeing a replay of something that happened exact 6 years ago. When President George Weah took over, and then he said he met book covers. President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf came back and said, no, I didn't leave a book covers. At the end of the day, public discussion, everything back and forth, people have mixed reactions about it. President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf on an interview said, if anybody thinks that I left a book covers or whatever, or I ate the country money, you're carrying me to court. Nobody carried her to court. Nobody challenged her. Despite the back and forth, even the previous government did not audit the government of President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. What we're seeing here is a repeat of what happened about 6 years ago. Officer Johnson, do you see a government that is going to move on the similar path, do the same thing that the previous administration did, judging from the fact that we're seeing a repeat here, or are we going to see a government that is honestly going to carry on an audit, contrary to what the previous government did to our successor?
Nelson,
Our predecessor.
just before I come into what you laid down on this premise, please. This is I'm having a deja vu moment here because in 1999, when my youth president left Liberia to come to the States, and our next in succession to become youth president for the church, I demanded a request from the financial secretary to see how much the dude is leaving. And the dude at the airport, he left a note and said he left $300. Yes, I'm sorry. That was less than $300.
Oh, so there was less than $300, but he left a note saying that he left $300.
The mayor
at the airport.
The mayor in America. We couldn't do anything. So I'm saying this to say that good thing I came in and asked the financial secretary, because we also have meeting on Sundays. So that Sunday, I said, I want to see the financial report, who all been paying dues, who have been paying dues. That's what you call leadership. And I'm seeing President Boyka stepping up to be that leader. President Weah had every means, but he was in cahoot with Dawo, so he did not prosecute, or he did not want to go after Dawo's government, based on the fact that we all know, well, some people would deny it, where he landed was because of Dawo. So he refused.
Let's go our former president, man.
That's no Dawo. That's our.
About that.
No, that's an honor to call her Dawo.
Dawo is respectful, Nelson.
Dawo is more respectful.
Just using vernaculars, that's all.
Yeah, some people don't understand how vernacular. They get people from different countries that are joining us.
Remember, we Liberians, so when we speak our Palam,
so President Ellen Johnson said leave.
Magola Oma, Magola Auntie, she refused to prosecute President Weah. President Weah refused to audit the government. Now, if we had a responsible finance minister, by the time this whole transitional team was going through, Samuel Tuer would have come out there and laid down a complete information on what have been left in the covers, and would have been going through all the back and forth. So right now, based on your question, your premise you laid, is President Boyka gonna audit this government? I strongly want to believe. I can't put my neck on chopping board for no soul, but I want to believe that this man came into power on this. People voted him because of that, because Liberian people want to see change. We don't want to have the steam of the old since 1847 corruption. President Boyka may not be able to curb corruption 100%, but he's going to audit. And now, I'm hearing there's going to be an international audit firm. This happened in 1986, following the election of President Doe. When the U.S. government was supplying the President Doe when he came into power with millions and millions of dollars, when they decided to come and audit, President Doe started taking strict measures. He went and started signing deal with Russia, Cuba, and other countries, knowing that he was going to provoke the United States of America. So that time he had the power to do such. But President, we are not going to think he's going to walk scot-free with what they did to Liberia. President Boyka is going to put the team together, and I support the idea of having an international independent audit firm from comprises of the European Union, Americas, and ECOWAS countries, including the AU countries, to have an independent source to go and audit that government, because there's a lot of deep dirt went on in that country. Now, quickly, if I'm not mistaken, that speech was made on the 21st, that Sunday night. I think it was the 19th. So even if it was the 19th,
which speech?
We Are Farewell speech where he made that.
We Are Farewell speech on the 21st.
It was the 21st, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was that Sunday night prior to the inauguration on the 22nd.
Yeah, but his data was reporting the 19th.
Okay, then the data reported the 19th. From the 19th to the 22nd, within that time, right? You're telling me that 20 million would have just been paid, and some civil servants up to now have not been paid yet, right? So where $20 million went, they made up numbers, and they audit would be the only thing to show facts, like what I did to my former president when he left the church that day and went to the airport.
You didn't do that. The mayor was on the plane. How did you?
No, but I was able to come there and say that this is not true. And here you go. I left. When I left,
You
a
made
year
a
later,
disclaimer. You didn't audit the guy.
oh man,
made
the
a
financial
disclaimer.
report came. Can I finish? Yeah, come and go. Less than 5 seconds. When because of that, it is in the record in Trinidad Cathedral that former youth president Hans Johnson requested a financial report, and when I left a year later, that money 300 was not.
We're about to take few calls.
Heinz, you just reminded me. Call me after here, man. Let's talk.
So my turn, right? I've had people here now.
I'm getting you wasted.
Yeah, we got one. I'd rather keep it in.
So about Alfred how jolly show.
Let's hear you quickly, Emmy.
Yeah, we got 2 other persons to speak, guys. Put your hands down. So sorry if you feel some type of way about that. That now saying this is why audit is very important, right? I hope no one is crying for wish hunt now, because one person is saying one thing, the other person is saying another thing. What's gonna settle it? Audit. So the Liberian people need to know. We don't just want chicken fighting. We want to know. So audit, Brother Hans, I hope you are right about that international something, because nobody know them there to go wish hunt them. So yeah, so let me end something that I wanted to say about that. Which might call it. What is the thing? What were we talking about first?
About me.
We're talking about how you and Josh Color smash.
Exactly.
Please don't start it, man.
She's following me. She's following.
Don't do that. So see. So yeah, so we have, so this is why it is important, because I don't think President will get used to it. President Boyka is gonna go up there and knowing it, Nelson, lie on these people.
So who do you think is saying the truth? Or who do you think is not saying the truth?
Whatever he was giving is what he's reading off of. I don't think he went there to go do a count. Whatever the central bank gave him is what he's reading off of.
The same central bank gave it to George Weah. The same central bank gave it to George Weah. So you see, that's why we need audit.
Yeah. George, you are interrupting Emmy.
So let me interrupt since George interrupted.
No. That's bad.
No.
That's
balance.
Bad. No. We're not balancing anything yet.
Balance.
No, we're not balancing anything yet.
Journalism require balance.
Oh, you see?
So that only your own balance.
George interfere, right?
Let's give our sister Emmy the time to
when the central bank reported something conflict from the George Weah-led government, Matthew Innes died. The central bank and people from the central bank got changed.
Stop the thing here, man. Just stop the thing here, man. Come on. Yeah, you need to stop that thing, my man.
Okay, guys.
George Weah came in with conflict from the central bank and somebody died.
No, Raymond, you will not recognize for this, please.
So why should George be interrupting when somebody talking? But anyways, George came here. He's talking about Boyka said that the country was this one because Samuel Eto'o did not do anything wrong. It was because of COVID. That's a lie. That's not what he said. If that was the case, Boyka wouldn't have been saying something about fighting corruption, and our country is in a deep a mess because of corruption. He wouldn't have said that. I don't know why this boy always thinking he's the only one watching the news or watching whatever playing on, and he want to come here and be giving people stories that doesn't match. Boyka never said anything about, Samuel Eto'o was a good boy. He did great during the 6 years. That was the coronavirus. That's why the economy is like that. No, it was a corruption. It was stealing. That's what he said. The corruption, and he's committed to fighting that. That's what I heard President Boyka said today. Go ahead, Mother.
Thank you. Yeah, leap on you. What you say, my man?
Nobody's stealing now. Let him pay wire. Let him pay university fees.
That's not part of his plan. Paying wire is not part of his plan.
Our presenter has a question. Our presenter has a question.
That wasn't part of his plan. He's not going to take Josh Weah plan because it never worked.
Whether or not it was possible that the central bank would have given different information. I absolutely agree that it's possible that the information that former President Weah gave up was a lie. You and I can recall that someone told us that the country budget has surplus. When they take 30 million from the IMF to say they want to do stimulus package, at that time the country was performing and we have surplus budget. They seen someone told us that Liberia was selling current to Ivory Coast, whereas majority of our people don't even have stable electricity in Liberia. So it is possible that the presentation made by President Weah was a fabricated presentation. So for me, I believe that information he gave was a lie, and it was a diabolical lie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because the thing is, they're going to do the same thing.
What you say, Ramon?
So you see, they say you can use past performance to vouch for someone current and future performance. President Boaka, when he was vice president, when he left his office, he left money in the coffers. He served all these years in government. No one story about corruption on his name. So when he provides such information, there's a lot of credibility to it. Unlike George Weah, which his government was marred by corruption, validated by the international community. 10 embassies near Liberia wrote the Liberian government the first year of George Weah, around 3 to 6 months of his presidency, to put their hands off their accounts that were meant for projects for the Liberian people that were being misappropriated. The U.S. Embassy got a couple of George Weah officials, close lieutenant to the presidency, on sanction. Today we realize that our government is on a sanction. So there are too many layers to say that there's too many red flags of the George Weah administration. So such person presenting numbers to you does not amount to fights, because that character is questioned.
Thank you, Ramon. I beg you, thank you. Yeah, we got
we got okay. So guys, we are going to the lines now to take some calls.
You're not talking. You're not talking.
I thought you were getting your people out.
So
we go join an agreement. We're not talking nothing.
We gotta be transparent as much to go for our leaders to be transparent. You understand?
0555 0555.
But we tell you don't let her talk. That's why you're telling everybody to talk.
No.
Friends, we didn't know
that. You see? Well, be talking that again. I start talking that else. I get red cup. And I get red cup. When I start talking, you say, "Oh, you get red cup, you get blue cup, you get red cup."
No, Baba, when you don't drink your red cup on the show that day, you can be cool. But if you're going to drink a red cup, today we're going to be Wahala Day.
Why Baba keep on
No problem, my brother. Doesn't take the call out. That's my closing one.
Let's take our first caller here. Hello, you live. Your name and where you come from. Sorry. Okay, please go ahead now.
Hey, my name is Josiah. I'm calling from Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you guys. I want to talk on the issue of the president. Everything he said, it made sense. Speeches have been made many times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Liberia want to listen to our speeches a lot. I think Liberia are known for speaking. Liberia know English. Liberia know book. But kind of reality, Liberia don't do facts about that. And Boga have a record, as they say, you have a transparency record. But Boga has said a couple of things that he haven't done. So we're not going to be listening to what Boga said. We'll be looking at what Boga are going to be doing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's take another person here. Hello, you're live. Your name and where you calling from?
Nelson, what's up, man? It's your bro Tommy from Virginia. How are you guys doing?
Oh yeah, it's good to have you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Great discussion tonight, man. I've always enjoyed listening to the panel. All of you guys, very intelligent people, learning a lot from you all. So it's been great. But hope you give me a chance to really get through my points. So I listened to the president's address today. Mm-hmm. Excellent. He did an excellent job. He articulated it well. Very impressed by his decentralization plan. That's something that really stood out to me. Definitely, I'll be honest with you. I personally, and this is just my personal belief, I was a little disappointed when the president was naming all of the manuscripts that will be on the task force to address the substance abuse issues without mentioning the education manuscript. The reason why is this, Nelson. Listen, in Liberia, we focus a lot on the intervention, and based on everything else that the president said today, it seems like we're treading towards that trajectory. We wait until something goes wrong before we react. Substance abuse issue has to be addressed from the root cause. We have to start educating our people as young as elementary school about the dangers of substance abuse, things that it does to the body, how it affects the lungs, how it can contribute to, cancer and all of these other
Don't you think the Ministry of Health that's chairing this committee is going to be in the business of educating the people on that?
But Nelson, perhaps they can, but it's not. It can be as effective as the education ministry because this is something that should be part of the curriculum. Okay. I'll give you an example. Currently, as I'm speaking to you right now, I am in Virginia, and we are at a conference called the CADCAT conference. For those of you in the U.S. can research that, I'm presenting at this conference. Nelson, what we do to address this issue, it's an epidemic here in the U.S., especially in Virginia. We have law enforcement. We work with all these different entities, similar to what the president mentioned. But we work alongside the schools. They make that part of their curriculum, whether it is in school or after school program, to educate young people.
Thank you, sir.
And I feel like that's what the president did not address.
Thank
and
you,
I was, just a little disappointed. Apart from that, everything else was good. Thank you.
Thank you. We take 2 more calls from the WhatsApp.
Quite a valid point.
Local lines. Hello, you're live. Your name and where you call from. Hello? Yeah, please.
Hello?
Yeah,
is this contact?
Yeah, you're live on the late night show. Please go ahead.
Hey Nelson, how you doing?
Yes, sir. We okay. Let's
I had an issue with the contradiction in the figure from the president's speech. But it's the same governor that was appointed by Joe. We are still in power. So I think they can call him and question him. You give me out because the same guy still there. They haven't changed the National Bank governor. The one that gave we are the statement, and the same guy gave the statement to Park guy. So I think that can be sorted out before the auditing reports. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. We take another person here. Hello, you're live. We lost this person. So let's go to our local lines. Let's take some calls from here. 0555-101075. We take this person. Hello. Please go ahead quickly.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Let's hear you. Yeah.
This is Samuel Y. Johnson, the Secretary General of the National Teacher Association of Liberia.
Okay.
Mr. Johnson. People were boasting around here that the wax fee around. The only out of the fact they only pay 1 year. Right now, this government is about to pay. Otherwise, the Liberian student will not take tests. So when people be going around giving false, there are a lot of things. The audit is very necessary to expose all the dirty deeds that you guys did to put our country in a mess.
So you said you are the president. You are the president of the what? Which
Secretary General of the National Teacher Association of Liberia.
Okay.
The audit is necessary. People go and give a lot of falsehood, and because Liberia is a that lot of misinformation go out there, which is killing our society.
Thank you.
The audit is very necessary.
Right. Thank you, sir. We take another person. Hello, you're live. Your name and where you call from. Morning. Okay, go ahead, sir.
My brother, all that up and down you're going, the thing is very clear. The Central Bank governor gave one account. Then at the same day, he was released on a National report that 20-something there. So what argument there?
But
way to keep.
Are you insinuating that the CBL governor must have been playing some sort of trick here, giving two different
he did not write speech for Joe. He doing his work. He know they're going to stay like he's not going to drag himself why he don't know about. You tomorrow he will get the same figure that he gave you. Or that way he told me in that when he released the document, they told him to take 20 million and get in and go with 20 million. Why may he get after 10 power is running all the time? If he got good report, he can stay for 1 or 2 months.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Let's hold you there and take another person from here. Hello, you're live. Your name and where you call from. Hello. Okay, we lost that person. So let's come back to this line. Hello. Please go ahead.
How are you?
Yes, sir. Let's hear you.
I'm from Lukinta, and my name is Francis Etamba.
Mr. Tama, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I want to agree with the caller from America who is talking about this drugs business going to schools. You remember sometimes ago, somebody called you from Lukinta and was trying to talk to you concerning drugs abuse, school-based drugs abuse education. And you ask a person to find you at your office. And so I think I'm in support with the guy from America.
Okay.
That education of drugs abuse is a vital.
Thank you.
Most important.
Thank you, sir.
Because to speak, drugs control in Liberia is more about punishment, fines, jail, but nothing about education.
Thank you, sir. Let's hold you there and take another person on this line. Hello.
Awareness.
Hello. We've not come to the WhatsApp yet. We'll end up on the WhatsApp. Okay, so let's go to the WhatsApp now because this person left the line. Hello, now you live. Let's hear you, sir.
Well, thank you for having me on the platform tonight. And I'd like to say good evening to your fellow panelists as well. Nazim, this is Bila Soiree, and I join you from Philadelphia.
Okay, go ahead.
This evening. Basically, I want to thank your fellow panelists for their analysis on the issues surrounding the president's sooner address. Being one person who supported Mr. Bouaka, I think I'm a little bit disappointed when it comes to some part of his speech that did not touch basically the war and economic crime code. That which was a paramount song that you and myself, that all many Liberians who supported him, strengthening through, and that these are pillars in which the Unity Party came to power.
Okay.
And I heard the brother George talking about the president not being sincere around surrounding the foot of George. I mean, when somebody say, for example, we're gonna fight George, and I'm gonna unleash myself, me and my vice president, to take a test. That basically does not tell you that everyone should just go immediately and take a test, because leadership comes with example.
Thank you.
If you want to fight something, to conclude on this note, if you want to fight something, I think you should do something that will show light that yes, I want to battle this. So thank you.
Thank you,
I
sir.
beg you, please check your WhatsApp. I mean, there are some conversations I have been having with you, but you've not been responsive to my message.
Thank you,
messages.
sir. I'm gonna check it, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thanks for your input. We'll take the last two calls and then we'll wrap up. When I'm talking the thank you plenty and I mean out of time.
Hello.
Hello, you live.
I'm Abraham Martin, calling from the USA, North Dakota.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
The president presented well today. You know, these are the leaders we're looking for in Liberia. They show people from day one to say you want to work away, bring pride to that country.
Okay.
And he will serve well. So we don't get time for George talking about on our show yet. George, just relax and wait for 6 years.
Thank you. Let's go there and take this person. Hello, you live?
Hey, Nelson, how you doing, my brother?
Yes, sir. I'm okay. It's good to have you.
Good. Nelson, this is my take on the drug issue here. So, look, we already have the agency. We have DEA in Liberia, right? And they are charged with the responsibility to fight the drugs. So you can go and do your drug test. But I think we are missing the big picture. I must admit, I was trying to follow George tonight because what he's saying essentially is that to begin with, you have to fight the drug trafficking. You can go to school, you can go into school and learn the drug issue, but the fact remains is that those folks who are bringing the drugs in the country, you have the agency that need to fight them. So there are laws.
Okay.
I think the only problem we have is that the laws is not working, because this is why I maintain that the rule of law, which is the fundamental principle, the core principle that can lead a country, a civilized country to success, is the rule of law.
Thank you.
You have a DEA that falls under the Justice Department. You don't need the Select Committee. It's a waste of time.
Thank you.
The Justice Department regulates the DEA, and they have to get the requisite funding to fight the traffickers, and that's it.
Let's hold you there and then take the final call now. Hello, you're live.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Nelson, thanks for taking my call. Hey, I just got two things I would like to mention. One, President Walker is making a whole lot of appointments, but at least he should include some young folks. Let's leave the old guys out of the picture for a while. The second thing is, to solve our problem, let us have the audit to be done. International auditor, we shouldn't deal with our Liberian auditors. Have an international auditors so that you will have no time for anybody to come to you, either by hope or crow.
Okay.
International.
Now, starting with me, I'm closing first. So that when you making me last to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, sir.
Oh, I don't know.
He was on. So let's start to do our closing now. We're out of time. Not much time on our side now. We have to go.
Yeah.
Mobile, you want to take your 1 minute quick?
No, you give me my man 2 minutes, man. Don't do that. Anyway, I'm talking plenty, so you're right. 1 minute, that's fine. Well, I want to talk about the jobs issue, like the budget issue, all that stuff. We all know. George Weah and his people take that identical money and they give fake information. So we all know that one. And based on what we get in our possession, I know that the auditing will be in favor of JMB. And what George Weah did in the past, they will pay. And for the judge issue, right? Yeah, our big brother on the line just not talking about, you got to get a committee. Anything you're doing, like more especially when it comes to drugs issue in our country, you got to get a committee, because the people that are resident people, they don't take things for granted. You see the other place, maybe even when somebody go there, like police officers are all in the same cohort with the same people. So if you get a task force, and and then you fight judge, the infect of judges in our country is bad. Like look at the methamphetamine last time they called them to the airport. So they won't get no result. When we know that investigation still going or it's it has been concluded, we don't know. Nobody know. Judge said a sedition, but he don't know. And you understand? So all these things we need task force. We need to put people together. The people got to come together. We need joint security to fight the identical job. More especially the highest the people that are bringing it in the country, as you alluded to. Of course, yes. Now we hit all the BB people like bringing it in the country and giving it to our brother and sister who today some of them right now they're not even to the rightful mind. So I think no, you're good. So I think the drugs issue, and I'm gonna commend the president for it, and we'll take it little by little until we can clear drugs from our. It may not be 100%. It may not be 100%, but at least we will bring it to the at least we'll minimize it. Submit.
Okay, so let's start with Alfred. Amy will do the final closing to take us home. Alfred, please go ahead.
On the overall of the president's speech, this is a start. I don't want to be quick to talk about my own reservation, because sometimes when you are dealing with planning, you have to come with your plan, and in the future you can start breaking it down. But in the next few weeks, I look forward to an aggressive government. I look forward to JMB putting things in place, especially on the issue of corruption. Corruption must be fought. This country is 176 years old, and we now know nothing about Liberia that we are proud of. When it comes to infrastructure, nothing. Education behind. So In the president's speech, he talked about revitalizing education. I think I have a reservation over there, but I will keep it now and see what will happen in the next few weeks regarding that. Finally, let me close by saying this. The issue of audit, this issue of audit should not be based on friendship. The audit should not just be based on someone to the high guys. We're going to start from the top all the way down. The audit should go as far as checking people's lifestyle. We should go to that level. Let us make sure those that left this government, they sit there. We got to check their lifestyle. If people that can afford it were making 2,500 and they get hot that cost over 300,000, we'll take it from them because your 2,500 cannot give you a $200,000. That's how far it should go. Thank you.
Thank you, Raymond. Yeah, 1 minute quickly, sir.
So, like I said, I want to thank the president for his SONA today. And I would like to rate his SONA about 80% because I think he could have done it a little better. Some of our callers call in today and raise real valid points. One, the education minister should have been a part of the committee set for drugs because we've seen videos of kids in school abusing drugs as well. So education will prepare kids, give them the awareness and the understanding and even the effect and the danger of drugs. That's how you combat drugs. And I mean, it had to be a holistic effort, like I said, all hands on deck. Secondly, we know that the Liberian people want closure to the issue of war and economic crimes. We need that. And that should have been something very important that the president shouldn't have left out. Notwithstanding, we understand everything couldn't have been captured in his speech. But we want to call on him and caution him to hit the ground running. Like he said, he's going to be ready from day one. We believe him, we trusted him, and we believe and we're going to hold him accountable for such. So we want to urge him right now to include the education ministry on the team of the committee for the enforcement and the fighting of illicit drugs in our country.
But Raymond, don't you think? Yeah, okay, just conclude. Go ahead.
And we also want to urge him to make the issue of the establishment of the War Economic Crime Code a priority in his region.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Josh, you want to do your closing? 1 minute?
Thank you. Look, gentlemen, I know it has been a really good show today. But yes, what I want to say is it's a common knowledge that to alleviate the destruction that drug epidemic or drug abuse or drug use brings to a country or any society is to first disrupt the supply of the drug. I did not hear the president talking about disrupting it. And I think to disrupt the supply, because if the people don't get drugs, they will not use it. The paper did not talk about how to disrupt this drug supply, but then he went to the hospital to go take drug test and he'll say, yeah, that it will help. It will help. Guys, we need to criticize things as we see it fit and common knowledge, just common sense. You disrupt the supply and the people cannot get the supply, they will not use it. But we are here, I say, people in the comment cursing me. Look, I don't know, one of your relatives or somebody will be using drugs. And you start to blame government. But I think the president should have been full right, come straight down and say, look, we'll disrupt any supply of drugs in the society. And yes, how we're going to do it. But he's running to a clinic to go take drug tests. And he thinks he's going to stop it.
But John, is it possible to disrupt the supply of drugs?
Yes.
Is there any country in the world that has disrupted the supply of drugs?
Yes, I mean, America has done that. America has done that. And Trump wanted to do it more by even putting, or how they call it, hey, why is it get disrupting me, man?
Drug,
please,
that's not
please,
true.
I beg you. Please,
I beg you. That's drug on every street of America.
Raymond,
on every street, Raymond, on every street in America. So that Trump, that the president carried there. Let me talk, please. Now, please. You always heckle me when I'm speaking.
George, we are arrested in a home of a drug dealer.
Man, let me finish. Okay, all to our closing back.
And different, yeah. Let me go ahead.
Go ahead, Josh. Raymond
Look,
has...
it's a common sense, but I think most people here, they are interested in the politics. They're interested in making Joe Walker look fine. I think the common sense in this thing is to disrupt the supply of the drugs coming to the people by empowering the DEA to make sure that they go after all those people that are supplying drugs to Liberia. I think it's the first step. Going to hospital to go take drug test, I don't think it does anything to stop any drug use. And guess what? Using drugs it's something that people get addicted to. That's something that they can even sell their own house to go and buy the drugs. So is that something that? Oh God! Because you keep disrupting me. That's why I'm taking long. If you're not disrupting me, I would have been finished.
No.
You disrupted everybody else, so you deserve a
Nelson does it intentionally. He does it intentionally. I was just saying tonight.
Stop that, man. Just stop that, guys. You have to stop
when
that.
George disrupt, you never.
Josh, please take 30 seconds to conclude, and then we'll go to Francis.
Look, and people will disagree with me. And look, I like to send a heat because I will say the truth. And one day you will realize, even if you don't say it to me, you will say that George was right. One day you will accept the fact that I was right on some of the things I'm going to say. I'm not going to be right on everything. But look, it was all good. At least the president avoided the topic of war crime, so he didn't fall off. So it's a good thing. And I hope that he continues to avoid it because I think that subject, according to Prince Johnson, when he say he can go. So we thank God he will continue to avoid it. Thank you. God bless you. God bless Liberia, man. And I hope that Bwaka will succeed. And
Mama, you have all the ideas, but you couldn't get rid of George Weah. This is the hypocrisy that I'm talking about.
I'm not.
All the ideas you have it.
I am not advisor to George Weah. I'm not an advisor to.
You're not an advisor to Bwaka either.
I am not. And that's what I'm saying.
When you have a director of
okay, I mean, please hold on.
You are in the same channel with Bwaka.
Raymond, guys.
You are in the channel with Bwaka.
The hypocrisy we talking about.
Josh,
yeah,
let me ask you a question.
Please go ahead.
CDC. You supported CDC. Under CDC government, different kinds of drugs were introduced in the country. The Kush. They say they got different type. I don't even know.
Italian white.
Human boom said they were human boom and level. They can boss it. They can boss it. The thing in level.
In the midst of all that, like Ami is saying, why didn't you introduce those fine ideas you're talking about? Eradicated from the source. Then when they come from the source, then the bottom will not get it. Why you didn't propose some of those?
You see how you can get George 20 minutes, then you get all 1 minute back going by all
Francis is gonna come. Francis, you're gonna have your time, Francis.
Because all of you guys say the same thing. Let me default. At least it will make the show balanced. Let me default. Look, here's the thing, Nelson. Here's the thing, right? Look,
what George disrupt everybody as he remains on the show. But once I talk, I get backstage.
Guys, you have your time to close. We
close. He's in the same chat room with George Weah.
Nelson, mute all the people. No, thank you.
No, we should leave the show and switch up for them. Nelson, George will be on here every day.
Doing this, guys. Let's not. This thing is not.
Nelson, you continue this. We're gonna go slow. We'll give you 1 month to George with this stuff.
Respect. Yes.
Nelson, let me say something here, and I think you guys will enjoy.
It should not be.
You guys will.
Don't worry.
You guys will enjoy what I'm gonna say, right?
No, enjoy it.
Let me tell you.
Why you didn't give that idea? Why you didn't give that idea?
That's why I'm coming to say that.
Why you
That's why I'm coming to say
enjoy.
Here's the reason why. Look, if you look at the fiscal space in Liberia, the money that is disposable that we got. If I gave that thing to George Weah or gave it to whatever the government, what would they do with it? What would they get the money from to fund DEA to the stand-up at which they will be able to fight effectively drugs? They can't. They ain't get the money. Even Joe Bwaka can't get the money too. I am saying to you now, same Bwaka says, because that was not George Weah priority. George Weah priority was to develop infrastructure. Yes.
Oh
and that's what George Weah wanted to do.
Can you put this one in the bag?
Why you think I'm putting in the bag?
Thank you, Josh.
Let me finish. Nelson, let me finish. Every government has a priority. Every government has its priority.
Thank you. Every government has a priority. Let's read right there. Francis, keep your closing. Every government has a priority. The mayor was supporting CDC. All the fun idea you get for the fight again. Anyway, George, that's a point. That's a great point. But let's hear from you, Francis.
I mean, you're making George sound like he's saying anything profound on this show. Talking about all your sound is seen. He's not saying anything because he's first come out talking about he didn't talk about anything disrupting the flow of drugs. Does DEA stand for Don't Eat Ajake or Drug Enforcement Agency? Does the Justice Department not part of law enforcement? Does he have to come and spell things out? The last time I checked, DEA did not stand for Don't Eat Apple. They stand for Drug Enforcement Agency. What do you think they do? Go be sleeping and digging buga or digging buga? They're enforcement. So you want either you profound or this is common sense. Common sense not common. Because they probably lay the whole thing down step by step, how they will treat the people through the Ministry of Health. Yeah, like the Quarter Ministry, there was no Education Ministry was left out. So yes, we can talk about that. He talked about Justice Department. He talked about the DEA. He talked about everybody. So how else do you want to disrupt these drugs that come into the country? Am I going to judge where? Or am I going to who? The DEA, the law enforcement, Justice Ministry, everybody there to disrupt the flow of drugs. They're not just standing to the border, or they're not just standing to the airport, shaking hands. So don't either you say anything profound here.
Francis, you think the setup, the makeup of that multi-sectorial team is just on point? It was intentional. You're gonna give it 100% rating? You think so?
No. As we can see clearly, nothing is foolproof. One of our callers just brilliantly explained his dissatisfaction as to why the president did not include education. Because if you have education ministry involved, it goes into schools, you can teach the children to avoid drugs. So yes, I hope the Justice Program team is listening to also to say, we made a mistake. We forgot about education ministry. But that's a tag team that he put together. That's a good plan. It can always be added. They probably not come in and just lay out everything for Genesis to Exodus or Revelation. No, it will evolve. So let me just close by going back to why I opened up way earlier. Johnson, Senator Prince Johnson, you better sit down and talk behind the scene for the work economic crime code not to come. But you keep making noise and making threats. That you think the people can't sit down. I'm telling you again, the bottom of Butu that you're in 1990, I did not see toilet before, and they thought I was well in the bathroom. They got cell phone now. They got TikTok. They got Facebook. They're living. They went in the Western world and the modern world. They can be in Liberia and they experiencing the Western lifestyle. So you don't think that they will die for you like they did in 1990 up until when you went and caught a president who surrendered to you and when you murder him. And you kill your warrior, bro, killed 250,000 people, and you say the war over people and let it go. If you came, you say you're coming to fight for your people, right? Why you didn't let it go if all the things that they did to them was bad? But now you say the people that y'all killed, all their family there, y'all killed their husband, their wife, their children, their family, they must just let it go. And you running around, you say the gun that liberate must die rule. And now you senator for I don't know 27 years now in Liberia, or wherever you enjoying your life. You think you're enjoying life, so must just go free? Why do people see you every day? The high tax paying dollars pay you that exorbitant amount of money. Then you can make threats. I dare Joseph Parker. Let him keep saying that. He's not ready for a second term. You got nothing to do. And not been disloyal to Prince Johnson if you talk about war economic crime code.
So you think this administration should prioritize that, and you think it wasn't fair to have not included it in the SONA, right? You think so?
Especially after he said that crap.
What did he say?
He said that crap. Then you call it out of a signal that Prince Johnson fell with me. I scared of Prince Johnson. Nobody will bring war to that country. That people will never take it.
About Senator Prince Johnson, maybe he was just throwing. He was just.
No. That's a sudden threat.
No, those who wrote the speech, I was also at the Bishop of Sudan. In inauguration, everybody happy. We are rejoicing over the defeat of the old regime. We are rejoicing about the effort to bring a new regime. Then we sit down with happiness. You go write paper for that 79-year-old man He's struggling to read. And you go there, I will tell United Nations, I will tell US, I will bring 1 gram for you. Because you think 1 gram for you, Johnson? And by the time the open was reading, when he got to the
Yeah,
Men go catch you.
I like the comedy of the whole thing.
That'd be weird, man.
I like the
Men
comedy
go
of
catch
the
you.
whole thing. But Joseph Burger, he better look at that. If he insulted, if he doesn't feel insulted as a president, he should know that the people that are in the ground today, their family members that are still around, people that are amputated today, children that are disfigured today due to that war they brought to that country. There's nothing to joke with. Prison, you'll be called pops in prison. Let me tell you something. You think they'll let it go.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you. Oh. Francis,
calm down, Francis. Calm down. Calm down. Yeah.
My man,
check your pressure, my man.
No.
You know, so now we're talking, you feel bad.
The guy is talking. The guy is talking.
But Vanessa keep bringing that video back every time I talk about it.
I know. Why you keep bringing that video?
The guy is talking. The guy is talking. And the roof of the house is shaking, and his wife had to come down in the basement to tell you that the other day she commented. Francis' wife commented. She said,
wake up, they make it sleep at night, bro.
Anyway, Johnson, please do your closing.
Don't make it too personal, my brother.
Officer Johnson, go ahead. Please do your
closing.
Thank
you, Nelson, and fellow panelists, and thank you, listening viewers. One thing I know, the president, as we say, Uncle Borga, Mr. Borga, Ambassador Borga, Omen Borga, he's a poised person. He's a man of dignity and honesty. And this is somebody I've been knowing since 1997, when he was vice president to then President Johnson Sirleaf, or candidate Sirleaf against President Taylor. So the Unity Party, we have a strong person sitting up there. He's a man men who say less fear him. Let me tell you right now. So he's not gonna say a lot, because he's gonna implement.
Actions speak louder than words.
Mola, please don't interrupt.
Thank you, Mola.
You've done your closing.
Hey, man, let's try
the first person to close. So
yeah, go home, my man. Go home.
Officer Johnson, please conclude, sir.
And so, okay, so
you
yes.
Forgot. So you want to use your time to Emmy, right?
I ain't eating nothing. I will talk.
Oh, you know why you won't talk?
No. It's just when you're on trend sometimes, you know. And anyway, I'm just trying to say, I trust President Borka. So on some things that are listed, I pray and hope he follow up with the war crimes court. And as we can see, Mr. Johnson or Senator Johnson is no threat to Liberia anymore. And I would like to encourage Vice President currently, Jeremiah Kuhn, to stand up for being a vice president of Liberia. And also, don't be bullied by anybody because you're from Nima County and one person feel they can dominate Nima County. You are going to be the next in line if you work hard with President Borka to implement the measures and things or the arrest menu. No, Nelson, hold on. I still got some more time, brother. And one thing, the DEA, I would ask that they seek support from the international community invest in CI, confidential informants, because tackling drugs, again, I said, it's just not the ghettos on Broad Street, 540 or wherever you got to go deep into some of these businesses. In America, we call it white collar crimes. These are the people that put the drugs on the market and hide behind it, selling products like refrigerator and what have you. Mine thing to Director Krumah, I trust him. I hope his 102 will work with him effectively, and everybody else. So education, people talk about education, money can be pulled in. And lastly, Nelson, please, thank you. I will hope that with everything that we want to fight this drug, it does not come empty-handed. The senators or the legislators up on the Hill, they should please invest in the DEA to fight this thing.
Thank you, sir. Amy, please take us home.
So, officer, where is that OFC stand for in your name? OFC, of course, or what?
Officer.
Oh my God.
That's shuffle,
Okay.
officer.
Okay.
Man, I
I know. I can
Common
ask
sense,
question.
George.
That's
I
the
know.
It's
I
abbreviation
common
can ask
for
question.
sense.
officer OFC.
The man know
Yeah,
he had the
look.
inform.
Someone is directing this comment at Francis. I am the best, President Francis.
In a basement, oh, ain't hard to breathe in.
I'm the best. I have central air. Even in winter
Oh.
time, my heat is set normal. I'm fine.
No, I
Oh.
think that person made a
Yes.
comment because of the energy you had.
The African, yeah, the energy as well. And don't mention work around code, please. We don't want to see thing.
Okay,
Okay, so thank you for saying that because that's exactly where I'm going to start.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when the campaign started, right? When JMB chose Jeremiah Coon.
Yeah.
My brother from the on the Sakimo tree came here
Stop
and said,
saying that.
Don't tell me what to say. Yes, I know. But anyway, that's how you can be. But anyway, he said, you will never hear Ambassador Boycott talking about war crime court again because Prince Johnson is supporting him. Now he's coming up here and laughing at him because he says it. So I don't know which one is which. Look, guys, I think the president already had that in his inaugural speech, the war crime quote, that he mentioned it. I don't think we expect him to be singing somewhere everywhere he goes before we think that he's serious about it. I think he is. He's been talking about it from his campaign, from the interview he made after he won the election. During his inaugural address, he talks about it. So I think that's enough. We should just give them time to see how what's going to happen. And I know people keep saying that, we've been hearing speeches and stuff. We want to see work, which is true. They got a valid point, right? Everybody come and speak the big book and everything, and nothing gets done. But this is somebody else. This is a new person. We can't just put other people's crime on everybody. I would not want somebody to put George's crime on me. No. Give me the benefit of the doubt. Let me see what I can do. When I perform, then you can come and hold me by my performance, not because of something George is in that role. He did and something. So I think that's the attitude we should all have going forward and give the benefit of give them the benefit of the doubt and let's see what it will do. Let's pray for them as well because we want for Liberia to succeed as well. If GMB fail, God forbid, all of us fail. How we're coming here, you coming here watching us, and every one of us coming here on this. My son, I think I can see me while they're arguing with him. All of that would be for nothing. So I think we from now on, let's just keep it in prayer.
That's for the clarity. Now everybody coming here to watch you want to see JMB succeed. Let me tell you now.
George,
I'm
number one.
not talking about the people from under the Sakimo tree. Just actually say that. But no, that would be funny for them to want to see the JMB film because when JMB film, everybody felt they're there. The ones that are there, I mean, I'm here. I don't care. I do care, but it will not affect me the way it will affect you.
Doesn't care. You see, Liberians, you should listen.
It's still alive. It's still alive. Do not
care what
me.
happens to Liberia, and if things go
I'm
wrong,
sitting here,
and the government doesn't succeed, she doesn't care, and but that's it.
No, it's not a propaganda. It's not going to work.
Very much.
I'm still here. I was saying, I'm not saying that I don't care about Liberia, and I don't think anybody would believe you because they see me sitting on here. I'm not getting paid for it, and I'm not getting anything for it. I'm doing it for Mama Liberia. I'm saying somebody who would be in Liberia and wish for Liberia to fail. Who would feed them more than our friend? I'm over here. I would feel bad for my country, but you would be feeling it personally. So that's what I'm trying to say.
And another thing I want to ask, Sister Ami, under the Sakmo tree, there's a spare there. When you go that spare weight on you, you can now redeem yourself.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Guys, on that note, we want to say
somebody
thanks
said Dr. Richardson, they're referring to bleeping that question.
You guys are unbelievable. Unbelievable. Stigmatized inside the group of anyway, look, guys, enjoy yourself. No, you guys
Raymond,
get off
thanks
on
for
it.
being here. Alfred, we appreciate you. George, thanks for being here as well.
Guys, we got a meeting. Raymond, let's do a meeting quick, my brother. Let's get a meeting after here, please. We gotta discuss a few things.
Okay.
On the phone. Yeah.
As a leader.
I'm a leader on this panel. You know that.
Don't go in a meeting and put a meeting outside down. Like you call in a meeting, so don't go there and put it outside.
I am calling it now. Yeah, I'm calling it now, guys. I'll be patient with Amy. I'll be patient with Amy. Don't worry. My man, Alex Raymond. I'll be patient. Don't worry. You guys see, man.
I just want to say thank you to this.
President, out of my book.
Miss Madam Titi, thank you, Damon, all those guys. You guys did well today. It was very, very pretty, and the sound was better today at the Capitol based on what we talked the other day. Remember, Nelson, feeding from one mic. You see what happened today? It was better today. Thank you.
Yeah, the sound was clear. Nelson won't go. See my brother do a feed that I'm sleeping. He wants to sleep now.
Go to that downstairs room. Go to that downstairs room.
Nelson, I'll call you. You sleep me. I'll call you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now after the phone, put on the chair, sleep there now. All right, my man.
See you guys.
No, don't talk all on the camera.
Nelson, I send you a text. Check it up though. It's very important.
Okay.
Nelson, please do Thomas downstairs.
Thomas Kume is
anniversary.
Today is his anniversary.
And Nelson, that guy who say he was the Secretary General for the Teacher Association, please send me a note. I want to talk to him. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
No, don't go blame him. Yeah,
no, come on. I want to talk to him. He sounds so angry. I just want to talk to him to calm him down a little bit.
They get angry when they listen to you because they know what's really going on, and you just come here to preach politics. That's why they get so angry.
Politics, no politics here.
George, the YFE is no law.
It's either both PTA and
and guess what? Exactly. Because it was no law, and I understand. That's why Bwaga need to put something in place.
So why are you mandating Bwaga to continue?
Because you're not increasing the people's salary. You're not increasing the people's salary, and then they come and pay YF, and they come and pay for what is going?
Is that what Bwaga campaign about?
Do
you say anything about that during his campaign?
No.
Let's do this, guys.
You did not say anything about that. But what do you do to mitigate the financial burden that will be on the people?
He got his own solution.
Let him deal with that.
Then you say they will know. But the people now, guess what? Now he brought so many doubts because people don't know what he's going to do with YF and the university fee. No one knows now. So the uncertainty is too much for the people.
We want to say happy.
Please don't bring that in our meeting. The meeting you call him will be serious about it. Okay.
That agenda, that request out there on the agenda there. That request out there on the agenda there.
So we want to say happy anniversary to our brother Thomas.
Yeah, I know the guy.
Yeah,
I know him.
This is Thomas Kume. He has an anniversary today. He and his wife, they're celebrating their first wedding anniversary. Happy anniversary to you. You see the man no love.
So beautiful.
Man no love. Looking to get up out of that.
Happy anniversary.
We wish all the best, Thomas Kume.
God continue to bless your
union. Take a notepad and Capeco.
My man.
Happy anniversary to you.
I got no comment for you.
Okay. Yes.
So thanks again to everyone. We appreciate you. We look forward to having a great
Thanks, boys. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Amy, please join the call. Yeah, please. I'll come in the call now.
Not joining no call.
Yes, I, a special one from the CEO, stand on with the spoon. And your boy, Friday the Southern Band, George on the beat.